So hello everybody, and welcome back here to some really lovely action. Bad Reki versus Sequoia, as we get in with some Division 4 action here. And we're gonna cover then some Division 3 and then some Division 1, going through the divisions today a bit. And we start with a WARNO first versus Mnet matchup here. So really hot one right from Division 4. And it's two airborne divisions here for Vertigo. Interesting picks for the map. What do you think about these picks on a map like that?
On the concentrations of special forces, the American Special Forces Division and the European Special Forces Division would kind of indicate that these players would want to play this aggressively, not really go into the standard trap of playing very slowly and doing mechanized all-ins, but instead wanting to aggressively contest the delta and not wanting to necessarily build these sort of wide front lines. But we have seen Sequoia playing MNAD and using let's say understanding the mechanics, but not really having the proper unit combinations out there. And from what we're looking at here, we're seeing pretty nice, pretty standard unit combinations with a balanced approach on all sides of the map. And on Reki's side, we're seeing a concentrated attack on the middle with the Humvee deltas going out there and catching the positions immediately, thus giving the forward deployment advantage slightly to 101st. 101st not being a dedicated airborne division, it can also open with a tank. And it really does seem like the Bad Reki strategy here is to play the heavier division, but still start out the game by controlling the middle. And this will allow, theoretically, Reki to transition into the heavier artillery, the way heavier mech with all the tanks that the 101st gets, and still keep on contesting any possible infantry grinds due to having the large tab of spec ops and aero rifles. Sequoia, despite the balanced approach, is now buying a group of scimitars and is planning to attack Bravo, which I think is going to be a big mistake unless there is something to deal with the tank. The Abrams will be able to eat those scimitars alive.
Yeah, Skinitars here are pretty interesting. Though, I mean, in the early game, they can work out against the as good fire support if you get them into the right spots. And the Rarden for sure is a powerful autocannon. They can also be somewhat helpful against something like a Little Bird if you push them forward. So that's an interesting choice as well. But we have some arrow rifle, air fire team dragons running around here. Some arrow stingers coming up as well to make sure that there's enough AA here coming around. And on the other side, Gurkha leader for the south. A good bit more investment here from Sequoia into the southern town, so slightly less in the north. But with the Milans, I feel like the M1 IP will have a tough time here. And the Humvee TOW, not a cost-efficient ATGM vehicle in this matchup. It just overkills by so much.
Yeah, I really like Sequoia's kind of balanced approach, sending just enough units to be able to reach and fight for the position, but not enough that they would be kind of a burden, which kind of makes me a little bit suspicious about the scimitar orders here. Maybe the scimitars will get recommanded, rerouted once the enemy is spotted, but right now the both sides adopting a reasonably defensive stance. Little birds taking fire at the pathfinders, deltas getting the fire at them before they're in the building, immediately dooming the fight for Sequoia. But the scimitars can open up here. Maybe this, now that the game is kind of becoming more static and Sequoia has complete coverage over the southern side of the map, maybe Reki will now try to build up a few minutes for a mid game push, which could have your 2 extra tanks, maybe an Apache, and then you can go out there and really start flexing your muscles early on in the game.
Yeah,
Scimitar's going
Aito
down
here
to
already in action. Scimitar in the north gets stunned by the arrow rifle dragons. The dragons are important in this matchup for sure, as you don't have any IFVs to rely on, so you need your infantry to be able to kill light vehicles. Good kill on the F-16 of the Dutch here. Phantom and the Arrow Stinger is doing a job. Good start here for Bad Reki, as we have Humvee Delta here helping out against the Mistral in the middle as well. Scimitar is going down in numbers now. The TOW 2 also pretty overkill for these light vehicles, but it does get the job done. And you unfortunately don't get a cheaper TOW, I believe, in the deck. You only get TOW 2s. Pathfinders in the north, another elite unit under fire, and the MNet power here is running low on steam in the north already.
Yeah, the Sequoia's LSV Milans were not in position to fire at the Abrams, and now the Milan the LSV has been moved into a better position. But meanwhile, as this was happening, the LSV Milan still has good optics. It can do recon, and it maybe just moving those slightly further and getting them into the little forest line northwest of Bad Reki's position. That could have maybe allowed for a side shot and actually a kill. Now the LSV Milan opening fire. Abrams is showing side armor. This could be a massive hit here.
Oh
And it is a
no!
massive hit.
Yeah, this is a perfect kill there for the LSV Milan. That's exactly what you want to use this unit for shots like that. Milan 2, capable ATGM on a fast LSV. With the special forces, it is moving extra fast. It doesn't quite have the 120 kmh base speed that you get with the American dune buggies, but it's still really, really fast.
Yeah. Sorry. Little birds are moving closer to maybe try to contest with Milan, but the Paramistral is keeping them away by suppressing fire against the Chinook. Sequoia's defenses are very heavily defensive. We see a Paramorg Paracommando Belgian unit. We see 2 Darkfires getting bought, the AA weapons team, as well as more recon to hold the line. There is barely any line left for Sequoia, and every moment here, every second here that Reki is not moving forwards is more time for Sequoia to get into those positions. This would be one of those moments while having so many units and so many even expendable units like your air rifles or your deltas or your Humvees, moving just something out there could pull off the veil from Reki's eyes and make him realize what amazing tactical position he has right now.
He's highly vulnerable to any autocannons. That's the issue right now. Like, moving infantry across the open is never feeling amazing if you don't have vehicles behind it. And with the loss of the tank, he doesn't have that. With the Mistral shooting at his helicopter, I don't think he will feel comfortable putting a Apache into that position anytime soon. So, yeah, his infantry is moving in, but it's moving in alone. The Green Beret ODA, the strongest squad in the game, it pays the price for it, but it's an absolute beast. Special forces, 14 men, and 3 support weapons here. It's an absolute beast. But it can still be shot from afar by something like a Scimitar. And we see more Scimitars now being brought up. So those will be troublesome to deal with. Humvee TOW can potentially deal with it, but not if it gets killed by the LSV Milan. And that thing is trying again, and it gets another kill here. Unfortunate times for Reki, as that Humvee TOW was super important in this matchup right now. Darkfire, with its amazing long range against helicopters, getting involved here as well. Little Bird having to disengage. Second one does get out alive. The Chinook with its minigun gets involved, hunting the LSV Milan in the north now, together with a DAP. And Reki's push still going on. The Green Beret leader needs to move over there soon to get the capture, to stop the +2, and then Reki can slowly maybe take care of the south after getting a couple more ATGMs and maybe a tank into the north, which is already on the way.
Yeah, the lack of anti-helo AA almost really punishing Sequoia with the DAP and the Chinook moving against the LSV Milan, but the LSV Milan manages to hide itself, and Reki might not realize that that thing is still alive. Para-engineers are now moving into the front line with para-scimitars opening fire on the ODA. Reki moving the units away and putting them into positions where they will be safe from long-range fire, which is exactly what you're supposed to do here. With a Green Beret leader moving in and trying to contest this, any artillery... Oh, there is a Buccaneer HE. This, if the Green Beret leader gets in there and Sequoia responds with the high-altitude bomber, that could be massive.
Bad Reki, a bit unfortunate. The 155mm not quite taking out the Darkfire in the south. But yeah, the Green Beret leader trying to push in. Scimitar is now getting involved. The M1IP has to hunt that down. As the LSV Milan still alive in the north. Barely not getting killed there by the Chinook. M1IP pushing for the kill. A second LSV Milan getting involved. M1IP smoking off. HE bomber is out. Going for the Aero Rifle Dragons. That is a nice kill, but it's not the most important one here right now.
Though the Weasel reinforcements opening fire, completely decimating the Green Beret leader here.
Yeah, the Green Beret leader is in a bad spot. It should move just a slight bit back where it can break line of sight once the M1IP takes care of the situation. Green Beret leader are just not getting out there alive, and the M1IP didn't push hard enough here to keep them out of the trouble zone. One Scimitar going down. F4F coming in to try to kill the Dab. Chaparral wasn't around there. A second M1IP coming in, Apache coming in as well. LSV Milan now trying to get a shot off here, but is out of range this time around. F-15 Eagle is out. Has to be careful of the Darkfire though. That thing is gnarly even for the Eagle. And yeah, first shot, first hit. As the Darkfire with its 75% accuracy, even against an Eagle, has a decent chance of hitting. Oh no, LSV Milan gets a second M1IP. As the helicopters, they moved away and they didn't get the kill. They now get the kill, but that's 3 kills on 3 important vehicles by one LSV Milan. This is really painful.
That is an excellent example of how you can use your kind of micro-intensive units, such as fast recon cars, special forces cars in this case even, and you can do nice decision making and this little trickery to buy yourself time, to buy yourself space away from your mistakes by playing well like that, which is of course every time it gets done to you it feels like horrible bullshit, but that is it's a way for players to claw themselves back into bad situations, is doing good micro, Apache micro, plane micro, recon micro.
The Green Beret ODA goes down to the Weasel. The Chinooks pushing forward. The M1IPs did a decent job here, cleaning up. A decent amount of light vehicles got pushed back, but they are cheap. They are easy to come by. The infantry fight's going terrible for Sequoia though, so that part is going really well for Bad Reki, taking really good infantry engagements, but the other part of the engagements are going okay as well. The artillery I like a lot as well, and we got the Darkfire killed in the north. Second one has to be brought up there now. The one in the south is pretty damaged and could be killed quite easily as well. Para Scouts getting overrun here in the middle now as well by some deltas. And this is looking like Bad Reki even might have a bit of a shot of just pushing completely through in the north. Oh, but the Iltis is actually getting in there to neutralize the zone, at least getting his +1 work. I don't think it's worthwhile sacrifice, but putting a bit more pressure here on Bad Reki right now.
Yeah, Sequoia losing a series of units, the only thing that this actually achieved was the slight +1.
Oh no, M1IP is getting so many ATGMs against it. 2 Hellarm Lynxes there, getting the kill there. IP struggling to stay alive in this fight, and they are so important in this matchup. The helicopters do great, and Bad Reki is doing a good job with them, but the tanks are super important if you want to get the Weasels out of your face, and losing them is pretty painful here.
Gurkha rifles and Mistral engaging this DAP, driving it away. maybe saving the Weasel here. The Sequoia is losing a bunch of units. Just zooming out of the board, you can see that there are way more stuff acting around here for Reki, and both of these players are getting the same amount of reinforcements. And now a Dutch cluster plane is diving and trying to get the Chaparral. If this goes through, after getting the hit on the Eagle, this air, I think, is one of the main ways that Sequoia can keep this up. Air is the counter to both the Apaches and the M1 IPs, even when the IPs are on the defensive. And the Reki's investments into air defense have been that Chaparral and fighters. So if the fighters can be whittled away, if the dark fires can attrition away the relatively small air tab of 101st, I think this could, in the end game, Reki could just trade really badly against the air defense. But so far, Reki does have control of the position. There are not that many things that Sequoia can use to attack here. And even the reinforcements are more weasel toes. So maybe this becomes a hold game after 560 points.
Yeah, we see Bedreki coming in here now in the north, the Green Beret ODA pushing in as well. But getting through that line of ATGMs and autocannons will be somewhat problematic. Artillery absolutely can help out. The 155 did a good job so far. Totu getting some scimitars. Like, I don't think Bedreki will struggle on holding the north, but obviously in the next 27 minutes we'll need to get some 664 points somewhere to get the W here. Chinook actually shredding through those Gurkhas there for a bit, but getting killed off. As the Phantom, though, might get the F4 here. Art, the second Darkfire is around for it, and the Phantom was a bit on the wrong turn, but gets it on the way out. Important kill there. The AA part of Sequoia's Air Force getting diminished. The Buccaneer trying to get the kill there, but I think it was attacking the wrong unit, accidentally being clicked on the DAB instead of the Green Beret leader, and not dropping its bombs and getting shut down. Big wins for Bedreki here.
Yeah, another series of bad engagements for Sequoia here, trying to claw back your position against an artillery-armed and constantly fortifying foe is not that easy. This area here is famously difficult to push on both sides, and that's why people concentrate tanks around here. And Sequoia just doesn't have them. Weasel toes and parascimitars and hell arms can provide a lot of defense, but you just can't go out there. The Apaches will just make short work of anything.
Yeah, but he just got an Apache killed, he just got a DAB killed, and he is taking away the two ways of actually beating Mnet's ground away from Bedreki bit by bit. He kills off the M1 IPs, which you don't have endless of, and he kills off the helicopters, which you don't have endless of, and once those go down, there's just no way for 101st to push. So yes, he is taking losses, but he's killing the couple important units that Bedreki needs to actually get a push on. Because without those, like, two scimitars can hold the rest of the units forever, for the rest of the game. So killing off the M1 APs, killing off the helicopters, that's the important part. You can't trade badly outside of that when you are in the lead in points, as long as you kill those units that actually have some aggressive potential.
That is true, but I still believe that with the Reki's infantry tab, couple of ODAs, couple of 84 squads, I think they could contest the southern Delta town before Sequoia would realize to fortify it even further. And this pushing here once again against the hard target, with infantry now going over the top with the Green Beret ODA and vetted up air dragons going in a large group here, actually kind of daring Sequoia to move out of cover. Sequoia bringing out a bunch of these paramorgs, these weaponized Belgian technicals, and those things, machine guns, will be able to shred these units, but that will of course demand tanks moving forward, and if tanks move forward, that means that there needs to be some kind of air coverage from Sequoia, either the cluster plane that is diving right now and that just got taken out by the Eagle, or enough air defense to take out the Apaches. The lack of supply for the Mistrals and Darkfires here has been tragic for Sequoia. The amount of situations where the helicopters or planes could have been killed, that I'm
Oh no,
surprised.
another M1IP. Smoking off in time this time. Okay, good movement there by Bad Reki. Both the Apache and the F-15 got hit, but the Mistral's not quite able to kill him off. And the two Mistrals might get killed off by an Aero Scout here pushing forward if the Gurkha Rifle doesn't intervene there. And yeah, Bad Reki's push here, it's going okay, but now the Scimitars get involved. And yeah, the Scimitars are cheap units, but in this engagement here, they can absolutely murder even elite units like Green Beret ODA. Infantry in WARNO is not supposed to do World War I-like pushes, as it just goes as terrible as real World War I pushes, and costing hundreds of thousands, but you don't have millions to back that up.
Yeah, I think other units here, including the two tank reinforcements, just are not in position right now. They should be engaging for Reki's side. Now the Abrams is moving out there and targeting the Scimitar, but the Scimitar is just deep enough in the forest that it could maybe just run back there. Weasel Toes opening fire also, and immediately getting a hit and a low cohesion on the IP Abrams. The Reki really paying for those larger numbers of tanks by making them immediately combat incapable when they start getting fired upon.
Yeah, getting the buildings in the middle though, that is an interesting position. Para Scouts pushing in there, but having a TOW 2 there, that is potentially really a changer. He still should push for the south, but obviously doesn't quite see what we see there. Unit-wise, oh no, the Deltas were just pushing forward into the next building as the Para Commando got in there. And I don't think they win the CQC without the M24 now. Well, yeah, no, especially not if more Paracommandos and a 50 cal get involved. So the position that Bedreki just got will get lost again in a second here. Unfortunate, as that was a pretty important position here to gain with that push. And ATGM attacking in the north. Green Beret ODA getting into that force. That is an important part. If that force can be pushed with infantry, and that should have maybe been the attack angle from the beginning, this can actually look quite different. So Gurkha
Reki is
Rifles,
bringing out
obviously not a slouch either.
Yeah, Reki is bringing out a second card of artillery. This time the 105, the lighter howitzers, which will be able to basically do the sort of artillery preparation that those infantry pushes need, even if they are not uncovered from the autocannon fire. Like you can't engage good infantry that is also in cover, because the journey to reaching that infantry is going to put you into a bad position. That is why
Wait,
the
how?
artillery is there to soften it from both
Oh,
sides.
the Green Berets are only 2 vet and the Gurkha Rifles are 3 vet. So the Gurkha Rifles actually win the 1v1 here. Even with 2 less men and even with not having sniper rifles, the Gurkhas winning the fight here against the Special Forces.
Yeah, I think the Spec Ops were the Green Beret were also on a move command, which was which allowed the Gurkhas to start firing earlier and more accurately, basically.
Yeah, but the more important part is the veterancy difference there. That just makes the Gurkhas hit a good bit better. The Mistral gets the kill into the Chinook here. Aero Rifles 84 coming in, but Gurkha Rifles really important here. Artillery also not really on target. The Paracommand and Gurkha Rifles are in the other buildings. The 155mm artillery in the rear is left without shooting as well. And HE Bomber will hit the sniper here most likely, as the Buccaneer will get out alive. Helicopters moving around to deal with the Paracommando push. That is working out. 19 minutes, that's still absolutely enough time to do something here, but Mnet is reinforcing the north really heavily. And with the helicopter advantage, Bedreki should set that up and then just go for a sweep through the south with helicopters. But obviously, that's something that you sometimes don't realize when you are in the tunnel vision. And Bedreki seems to be a bit too focused on the rear here, whilst 2 F4s take out both helicopters that I was just talking about as a strategic important unit. And that's another important mobile tool here just gone.
Oh, the Weasels could basically move up and start firing against the supply on the repairing tanks. This is a very risky position for Reki. Only thing that is keeping this up is the fire superiority, but another cluster plane is diving against the Chaparral with
Oh
an LGB
no, the
already coming out
LGB
and
is the
taking out England.
more important part. Taking out another M1 IP, and the number of tanks here is
No,
getting really low. The numbers of helicopters is basically zero at this stage, and those are the two mobile compartments that you have as one. First, you don't have IFVs, you don't have that many of either tanks or helicopters either. Like that's the limiting factor. That's why it's not an S tier division. That's why it's pretty mediocre at the moment. And yeah, losing those is just really costly at this point.
yeah, Sequoia's infantry moving out is a big mistake here, only allowing the Abrams to get some free kills here. But the concave that has been built, there's infantry, small amounts of infantry on the southern side of Reki. There's even the two paramogs that are moving out there, which will be able to fire their Milan once at the sides of the IP Abrams if they get themselves into a compromised situation. But the TOW-2 actually taking out another Abrams, side-shotting the
Yeah, and the other Abrams is also basically dead in the water here right now. It gets the kill into the TOW-2, but Para can shoot at it for free right now, as it is stunned and it is tracked. Humvee TOW gets shut down from the Weasel in the LSV Milan, and this is not looking good for Bad Reki right now. Humvee TOW moving forward again, but that's just going to run into the Unimogs with the Paras, and just gonna go down. Yeah, Humvee TOW not cost efficient here either. This is a pretty tough matchup for 101st, as it's just not built to efficiently deal with the cheap stuff that Mnet can throw at you.
Yeah, 101st is a division about doing big plays. It's about opening up with 3 helicopter transported infantry and then following that up with some special forces helicopters and microing them, like in your techno thriller special forces fantasies. Which is why it is so fun that they have gathered all of these assets into a division. But it's not really about this sort of grind. Like send the Green Beret ODA here, they're doing good work, but just having the numbers on something affordable can provide you with better results, because it can allow you to keep up a consistent push. And with the Zero with Abrams kind of underperforming and the ATGMs doing such good job against them, both on the side of Reki mismicroing, as well as when Reki is microing well, the Abrams just don't have the same kind of capacity as they are, as you would expect from them.
Ooh, we have an interesting situation though. 2 helicopters. The DEP is not committing though. There's no AA here right now. No AA. The DEP could just roll over all of this. Could just use its 30mm to decimate the enemy, because there's just no AA. The Darkfire is out of ammo. All the Mistrals got killed. This could be the situation right now, but it's not abused right now by Bad Reki. That could be the big difference, but instead a lot of red units died on the ground right now. A lot of Deltas, Humvee TOWs, Aero Dragons, but blue units outside of the Buccaneer not dying. M1 IP went down as well, like all the infantry units died. And the depth that could have made all the difference didn't make the difference.
Yeah, there is an LML that could have moved slightly further up north and safely started firing against those. But meanwhile, the helicopter is going to have more stuff to do with Paramog and Parascorpion counterattack happening in the middle. There was an excellent bombing run onto the Citadel, taking out a bunch of the forces bunch of Reki's forces, and Sequoia wanting to bleed the enemy and not allow them to keep up the attack is going to demand the enemy's attention the other way. But it seems like Reki's reinforcements have been drying up. There's only helicopters coming. And I think Reki recognizes that if this Green Beret leader does not reach the position, the game is that is not coming back from that one.
Yeah, there's no infantry here around on the front line. Like all the expensive infantry of 101st just died there every single time, because like 2 autocannons can just delete all of that. The power of autocannons is big, and yeah, you need some way to deal with that, and those tools were just always taken away nicely by Sequoia, and Bad Reki focused on the wrong part of the map here for too long. The south was absolutely capturable, but that's the issue. That's the learning curve in Division 4. Don't focus on a impenetrable terrible fortress, even though you have thrown away one attack maybe at it. Just try to find the weakness there. And the trades were really good for Bedracky for a long while there until he tried to throw in time and time again those waves to his rear point. And that rear point is just so hard to capture on both sides on this map. So just pivot, go for the town, and capture that instead.
Yeah, it is also decisiveness to recognize that, oh wow, that seems really difficult. I better start immediately moving away. Not even giving the enemy a few minutes about it, just immediately trying to rotate as fast as possible. Because due to the law of WARNO dynamics, a player that does massive frontline defenses on one part of the map just objectively has to have some kind of a weak spot. And even though Sequoia's defenses in the early game in the South were really decent, and even in the late game, it did have some defense in depth, including with some ATGM vehicles in forest lines. Just having like 2 helicopters and 2 tanks, it could have just rolled over the southern side. And we have seen this before in the league, and people do get into they don't necessarily recognize that those defensive forces of Sequoia could have been given and kept there very easily, relatively easily. That just a few recon infantries, few ATGMs, a single tank could have all just made sure that there was no counterattack was gonna capture Reki's conquests. And but this is again Division 4. Once again, we are bringing in the advice to all of our beginner viewers here to be decisive in not taking fights, not just in taking fights, but also just moving away. It can give you so much.
Yeah, and it's a classic issue of over uh, over focusing on one spot of the map and just uh, suffering from the consequences of just trying to break that. And then when you have once committed, it feels always so wrong to go back, but it's the right move to actually try to look for weaknesses. And there was a massive weakness there in the south. Like Benricky really was trading so well for a long while until the third or fourth suicidal charge in the north. The situation was pretty equal at least. Like, and before he started to push into the north, it was absolutely in favor trade wise. But the points are the issues. And yeah, Vertigo can sometimes be a bit tough when you are the one that is back in points and needs to get a push done somewhere. But the south absolutely was doable. And hope to see that in the future. With that said, guys, let's jump into game number 2 between these two after a quick little break. So here we return, guys. Game number 2. As we go into Sequoia versus Bedracky once more. And Bedracky once more on an American division. As we have Bedracky in the red side as 8th US, whilst on the right side, Sequoia brings the division that Skific has brought to a lot of fame lately, and that is the 4th Division. 100-0 with Skific. Let's see if Sequoia can at least go 1-0 here in this one.
Yeah, the 8th US here, even though comparatively, technologically, pretty much on the level of the Dutch are still considered an armored division, and the Dutch 4th Division has been getting a lot of play after they got the iHawk. They have become one of maybe my favorite division right now, and a lot of people have been doing a lot of good work or playing it competitively. It really seems like it is the Dutch are slightly more aggressive and IFV focused 5th Panzer, and with their more efficient and cheaper IFVs and their heavier tanks, slightly heavier tanks, and especially with their recon units and very, very effective and cheap and numerous recon units, they just seem to be able to perform the leopard blob tactic better than 5th Panzer in the meta right now. And 8th US, on the other hand, has been completely relegated into basically reserve status. Very few people have been playing it. 8th is the most common beginner division. It is very straightforward. It's very simple. It is a high-tech mechanized infantry division with a lot of tanks. It's got all the good stuff, and except Apaches and Eagles. It's got the A1 Abrams tanks as well as the baseline M1 not A1s, which will be good against lighter vehicles, but of course will be challenged by more modern Soviet or even tanks such as Leopards. And yeah, eighth US is still good. There's nothing wrong with it. It just isn't affordable enough in the current meta. There are so many good divisions, so many active tactics. People are so good with most of the maps that eighth US just doesn't really compete competitively. But this is not competitive. This is Division 4. So what do you think about how the strats and the developments are gonna
Yeah,
go
that's
here?
also something that might be changing again now that both the M1 and the M60 got buffed. So we will see how that works out. I don't like the M1 here in this matchup though, as the M1 base doesn't line up super amazingly against the other side's Leo 2s. The M1A1 does pretty good there. The M1 not so much. Whilst the M60 in my eyes lines up pretty well against the Leo 1 and against the amount of boxes, so I would rather like to see the buffed M60 together with M1A1s here, but we get M1 Abrams instead. One of the things that got nerfed about the 9th is that its infantry isn't coming in size of 11 men anymore. It's 9-man squads, but that's still better than what the Dutch get. Like one of the weaknesses of the Dutch, if there's any, is that their infantry squads on their own are not amazing. They only have 1 MG, and they are only 7-man squads. So
762 weapons also.
So that's the one weakness the Dutch maybe have at this stage. Whilst their AA is amazing, their air is pretty good. Like the Eyehawk plus Cheetah is just shutting down the airspace amazing. Italy, the YPR has a fantastic HE output, and the Leo 1's Leo 2 combo is really, really good as well. But Bradleys are good. The TOW 2 there can help out big time here. The TOW 2 teams are pretty nice, and the amount of infantry here is pretty solid as well. I'm surprised that Bedrecki is giving up Charlie this time around, as I think 8th has a pretty good time there. But
yeah, long-range surveillance unit or an air cav, just drop it in there. Just heli drop something.
Yeah, just get the Rangers in there. Just get 1 or 2 Rangers with helicopters in there with Blackhawks, and you have that locked down. And Dragons are actually pretty impactful against the Dutch as well, as they don't have IFVs on with ATGMs, so their IFVs usually push a bit closer, so the Dragons can find some kills there as well. And they one-shot all the IFVs because they are low frontal armor. So Dragon Rangers could have been pretty impactful here into Charlie, but we see instead a big deployment into Bravo. That's pretty standard, but also quite a bit north of Foxtrot, which I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think the fact that this is a Ranger and a TOW 2 combo and a Stinger is excellent, and it is obviously supposed to force the enemy into a close range infantry confrontation, which is as you pointed out, that the Dutch infantry is serviceable. It's not good outside of having a lot of Carl Gustavs, which is an excellent AT weapon. The Dutch infantry is just secondary. Their recon tab is amazing, but if you force the Dutch into contesting against LRS and Rangers in that tree line, that means that the points are not going into the stuff that are gonna actually contest Recce on the open. It's not going into the mech, and if you capture this tree line, you can get the TOW 2 or even like the Rangers Dragon out there to threaten Foxtrot, to clear Foxtrot without immediately pushing in there. Now, first engagement happening with a CNV, the recon opening with its Oerlikon against LRS, Recce immediately recognizing this, and the Rangers Dragon is moving, but it is not moving on a hunt command, so it will not open fire.
Good disengage with the TOW 2 in the north. M150 with the TOW is pretty nice as well. The TOW with 16 pen, usually not great, but against the Dutch, it actually one-shot stuff. Like, usually the issue of the TOW is that it doesn't one-shot IFVs, but the Dutch IFVs are such paper boxes that they actually get one-shot by it. So M150 here. It's a pretty cheap and nice unit anyways, but in this matchup, it's actually extra good. So good investment there by Bedreki for sure. Gunners and mech rifles here pushing forward in the middle, and Bradley has to disengage. Got a bit of damage out there, but the M113s and the YPRs still pushing on here, whilst the Genies pushing in as well. This is going to be an interesting engagement. The M1 Abrams pushing in there as well now, trying to get some damage onto these boxes. Has to be careful of the Panzer Infantry with the Carl Gustav, though it can take one or two of those hits as well, so it doesn't have to be super scared there. And the YPR goes down, so Bedreki here in the middle fight, I think, taking a pretty good one again.
Yeah, that was a really nice engagement. The Sequoia deployed in the middle, and the Abrams was able to dispatch the fire support. And even if the fire support wasn't dispatched, the Americans just have a numerical and qualitative superiority here. A couple of zero-vet genies is not pushing through here. The best the Sequoia could have hoped for at that point was to fortify these buildings that are outside the zone and prepare this for further build-ups. The going and taking the engagement like that was a big misplay, and Reki will likely, Reki is moving forward, trying to immediately capitalize on this mistake. Up north here, we're seeing Sequoia doing quite good against the incursion of the forest. Genie Works, which are the recon engineers, capable of contesting against the LRS with enough fire support, and the Leopard 1s and the IPRs really in their element. The TOW2 has not been able to contest this, and Sequoia has microed against it quite excellently. At some point, somebody's going to realize that nobody has taken Charlie.
Yeah, that's what I was
Sequoia
about to point out here.
Position to move in.
Nobody invested anything into itself. What happened as well was an air engagement, which went super unfortunate for Bedreki. His F-16 got one missile hit, but didn't get the kill. He lost his TOW Cobra to the F-16, and his IHawk and Stinger didn't get a single hit on either plane of the enemy. But his F-16 went down to the IHawks of Sequoia, even though he was further away than Sequoia was from his units. So really unfortunate situation there. The Panzer Infantry with the Dragon 1 here getting involved. Dragon 1 isn't the greatest weapon. Only 14 pen.
Right.
And
I learned this recently. It has 8 missiles, the Dragon 1, so it actually is a value worth buying, I think.
But it doesn't deal the damage, and it's not a scary weapon that you have to run away from directly. You just have to be careful that you don't show side armor, but the Panzer Infantry here goes down eventually, and I like this Bedreki push here right now. M113 in the south for Sequoia, finally starting to check out Charlie, and Charlie is really something Bedreki should have invested at least a bit of stuff in, but the rest of the map, the center here, going pretty well. Ooh, the cluster F-16 could be really solid there. And yeah, it does get the kill. 4 bombs on the Dutch
the Stingers
F-16.
were on a move command. The Stingers didn't fire, and the IHawk was not armed.
Yeah, IHawk now getting reloaded. We have a Chaparral pushing up as well. Mech Rifle Leader here coming in. The YPR is there as well, though. And 2 YPRs here, once more, could be the bane of Bedreki's existence. Issues with autocannons last game. Issues potentially with autocannons this game as well. Though, so far, it's still going okay. The M110 is coming around already. And that is a fantastic artillery piece. IHawk gets a hit on the F-16. That's out for a while. That's nice. Whilst Bradley here, still hitting the recon unit. M110 not hitting anything. 3 Abrams setting up in the north now. That's not a good time for the Leopard and Elts. They should get out there soon. But they have support of TOW2s, so they are not without teeth. Whilst Infantry of Sequoia is going for the engagement into the supply route. So both sides here with some big moves right now, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Reki has an A10. The IHawk is too far away, and there is no cheetahs forward. There's an A10 being used in its optimal capacity, which is striking against mechanized breakthroughs. Or it would be
one Abrams goes down though. Only 1 Leo killed so far. The TOW2 is doing TOW2 things, and the A10, it just doesn't have eyes. Nothing spots for it. as there is no recon unit around whatsoever. M150 is there, but it's way too far in the rear. And yeah, the A10 just doesn't have anything on the ground to see for it, to spot for it. And the IHawks push it back now. Abrams eating a TOW 2. That TOW 2 vehicle is a big menace right now. Gets a stun onto the M1. The M1's pushing forward. M150 now coming in with the ATGM is saving the day. TOW 2 vehicle down. So trade in the end still pretty fine. YPR in the south goes down, but gets the Bradley killed as well together with the M110. So both sides taking some losses here. And this game is going pretty clunky for both sides here right now. Both taking losses that are annoying, but both also having some threatening positions that they can hit the enemy with.
Yeah, Sequoia lost one of the IHawks in the town for the mech rifles dragon, and the IHawk up north does not have supply right now. Supply is coming in, but it is slow, and it's this happened the last game as well. The Sequoia not buying supply automatically with their AA teams, or their long range AA. And Bad Recce right now, with the recon in position and the Chaparral supporting, is moving around up north here. And there's quite a few things that can do damage, the Pratt and the Leopard NL, if they get close enough. But I think with these engagements and with the proper recon, Bad Recce should be in a position to start threatening the north. This means that Sequoia has to do something here, and that something seems to be airplay, but oh no, the IHawks and the Chaparrals take out the cluster.
At the same time, the YPR gets a Blackhawk killed that somehow got damaged by a Sidewinder or something while it's coming in. So the Rangers, the Blackhawk was damaged already. Unfortunate there for Bad Recce, but the Rangers number 2 get in, and that should win the infantry fight here for now, as a YPR is trying to ruin the day of these units as well, though. Blackhawk should get the hell out of there now. And yeah, Panzer Grenadier get killed. A10 comes around for the YPRs. That would be pretty helpful. The IHawk out of ammo, 1 got killed. So situation here for Bad Recce right now is pretty okay. Loses the line of sight onto the YPR again, though. Once more, nothing spotting for the A10. Struggling to get some shots on target anywhere.
But yeah, as I was saying, here we're seeing a Natres and a Genie attack. 2 Natres were ordered to Charlie, but Sequoia, in the midst of the battle, has forgotten them for the moment. And Sequoia still has ability to bring in reinforcements into the town. And this here is a a really good situation for Bad Recce, because if Sequoia overcommits into the town fight, that's going to allow Recce to contest with way better infantry. And if Sequoia instead wants to fortify the north, which seems to be happening with a Leopard 2A4, that
oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Look at the rear of the enemy of this. The MR13 CV is getting to get a shot on everything here. Gets 1 kill, gets 2 kills. Oh, this might be a disaster. Does it get kill number 3? It doesn't get kill number 3. So the 2 mech rifles at least get through. CV and supply go down, though. So the situation still pretty annoying here for Bad Recce, who wanted to get onto Charlie here. And at least the mech rifles make it through it. But the MR13 with a lot more potential for damage there. I don't believe Bad Recce realized what happened there. But mech rifles still have to push into the center. And yeah, the Bradley M1A1 plop is super expensive, and it's doing nothing right now.
Yeah, it needs to be activated here right now. Sequoia is doing a kind of a limited counterattack with the 50 cal trucks just driving them around here.
Oh, Bradley got bought. Bradley saves the day. CV gets brought in. Bad Recce recognized what happened there. And yeah, those units get out and get through. A10 pushed back in the middle once more. Infantry is isolated as the Abrams and Bradleys they're on the battlefield, but they're not where they need to be right now. 1 Abrams here right now would completely ruin the day of these MR13s, but it is not there, and that's a problem. F-16 goes down. Sequoia is hammering away air units once more. Similar issue as to game number 1, but He is getting the better battles on the ground right now because too many of Bad Recky's units right now are inactive and not doing anything at all.
Yeah, look at Charlie. Sequoia has built an ambush here with the APCs preventing reinforcement from going into the town.
Oh
The
no,
CNV
mech
is going to
rifles
take
going
out next.
down here to the MR13s. And there's another CV is on the way there, but that was going to be ambushed as well. The Bradley on its own won't save the day there either. This is a big misinvestment for Bedrecki right now, whilst the town fight is just going terrible because his infantry is sitting there without any support. And yeah, he has a big mechanized force, but it's just chilling in the rear. It's leaving the infantry alone. Where is the cavalry?
Oh no, there's another leader is going to get taken out here. Is Reki microing anywhere right now? I'm not sure. Oh, they are buying more in, so microing the middle, it seems. Yeah, this is. I think there's too much fear from Reki, too much belief that the enemy is going to have a massive amount of defense, and Reki just keeps on buying, keeps on getting more stuff, not engaging with any of it. It would be better if the blob was engaging at the same time as it was growing. The blob is still relatively close to the spawn, and nothing would stop the M1A1 printer. The M1A1 printer can be stopped if you give Sequoia enough time. And the momentum is quickly swinging. Sequoia really doing a nice, quite daring APC attack up north, which just kind of cleared the way for securely moving even more Panzerinfanterie up the middle.
Yeah, infantry now running out of AT weapons for Bedrecki. The infantry is still holding out somewhat in the south and in the center, but yeah, it needs support. The armored plop is moving now. The Panzer Infantry Dragon there getting involved, getting a sight hit against an Abrams. That is unfortunate there, as that one M1 is pushing further forward, and it's a bit annoying to use this plop because the M1 base is faster than the rest of the vehicles here, but the Bradleys and M1 A1s here now getting involved, getting some shots on target. YPR goes down in the middle as well, as a Blackhawk with another Ranger comes in to help out in the center. More Ranger Dragons coming in there as well, whilst Sequoia's air gets pushed back. The push in the north now slowly moving in. There's no ATG, no, there's one ATGM vehicle still remaining. There is one Leo 2A4B. That's not the scary Leo 2. That's the one with only 16 frontal armor. The one with 18 frontal armor is the one that actually can beat M1A1s, as it has 21 pen. The one with 16 actually loses in this matchup, so has to disengage. As Bedrecki is pushing in here now to get control over the north. Jenny there getting pushed back. Leo goes down. But at the same time, Leo once getting in position for potential side shots there. And the Blackhawk goes down in the center as well. Leo once under fire. The TOW2 is now getting involved. And that's a dead M1 maybe. Oh, it barely survives. Needs to get the hell out of there. Needs to smoke at least. But the TOW2 comes in a second time. It misses a second time. That's atypical for a TOW. As Bedrecki is pushing in the leader now.
Yeah, Badreki's Ranger reinforcements are in the middle here, and the Sequoia's push has not had enough support. Now, with 2 more infantry units and a Leopard commander, the Sequoia will likely contest the middle at the same time as he's losing north. But the Rangers, if the Rangers can get in here, which they seem to be doing, they are going over the top here, and there's only one IPR to challenge them. They could maybe start threatening and prevent the Leopard from moving into the zone.
Leopard is struggling hardcore here. Doesn't smoke off in time. Gets killed off, but it gets the M1 with the final shot. That is annoying for Bedrecki, because this push could have gone on further. A10 gets a nice kill in the center, but has to be careful with the stingers. But the center is holding. Bedrecki doesn't have a threat on the south anymore, though, so he needs a capture somewhere else again. 22 minutes still in this game, so a lot of time. Bedrecki has the mobile department on the battlefield here right now. Leo 2A4 CVs coming in for Sequoia, 2 of them at the time. So Bedrecki still has to be careful here. 2 M1A1s on the other side and an M150. slightly in favor of Bedreki, but he has to take these engagements nicely.
Yeah, the leopard that was killed there was actually stuck in the building. It was given an order to move back. So Sequoia having a stroke of bad luck here. The Abrams are now pushing them, getting really close, and the closer they get, the more the difference. Oh, look at the sideshow that the M1A1 by the other Abrams. Reki not stopping the attack. The recon is just slightly off position to actually help them, and the Leopards do get their first shots. Even under rocket support.
M1 gets the kill though with the rockets and doesn't get hit. Has to get back here now without getting shot by the other Leo though, and get into a supply, into the range of the supply vehicle. Oh, pushing on here is risky at this stage with 2 damaged M1s. No, they should wait for a bit of a repair with the second Leo being around. Hawk is getting involved, getting some stun onto the situation. This TOW 2 vehicle gets taken out, but that M1A is only 1 shot away from dying and it goes down. Leo 2 getting stunned down though, that is pretty big. Hawk is out of rockets, so it can't help out here anymore. The M1 doesn't get the follow-up shot, so the Leo 2 does live. And an F-16 coming around, hunting the Chaparral this time with this salvo, and gets hit, so it's out for a while. But next time around, it might take an M1 with it.
2 Leopards are now getting close here, and with their reinforcement time being shorter, they will be in position to push Reki's force. Reki is quite depleted force at this point. Reki organized a pretty nice attack. Like the AA was always there. There was a mix of recon, and the middle, I think, took away the tension through that push, because if the recon had been there first, the Abramses could have maybe engaged 2v1 instead of 1v1 against those Leopards, attritioning the way in a bit of an overextension. And but Sequoia is now committing solidly into the middle. There is a infantry leader that is trying to get in there, but just a single ranger being in position with an M1 Abrams in fire support, Sequoia likely cannot keep this up. There are too many good units here, and they counter.
And the 3 remaining infantry units of Bedreki actually cleaned up the whole town. So if Sequoia's push goes down, then Bedreki has a full town to push through. Leo nearly gets the M1, but M1 gets it back just in time. And there is little between in Sequoia's frontline here right now. The mech rifle actually even taking out the MR13 fat canister, and Panzer Infantry leader trying to get around here as well. Might get on top of the Eyehawk. That would be bad for Bedreki. But outside of that, the situation is still pretty tense for both sides here. TOW 2 coming in as reinforcements into the center. The supply units need to be sold and invested into new units, new supply units, or new units in general. The A1 is still pretty low. Oh, and the Hawk goes down to the Cheetah. The Cheetah is so scary for 6 hit points helicopters. With its amazing accuracy, it just shreds through helicopters like no other unit.
Yeah, and the Cobra is an unarmored helicopter, so that's a little bit of extra even there. You rarely remember, but it does have the same armor as, for instance...
Oh, TOW 2 with a potential side shot. It misses. It misses against the Leo 2AB. Sequoia hasn't recognized it though. The TOW 2 gets another shot out here. Leo 2 is now moving away. It might move just barely out of the range for it to track. Yeah, just barely moves out of the range for it to track. The Leo 2 is living a dangerous life here.
Yeah, Sequoia's artillery, like you really get to work, like destroy this. There is it's such a great target. There's even a second TOW 2 getting right next to it. If it gets taken out, Bad Reki has decided to hold on to North. And buying the TOW 2s are the correct choice, even with the enemy having artillery, because the TOW 2s are going to reach there first, and they're going to buy time for the mech force to recuperate.
Eyehawk gets taken out in the rear. The Panzer leader has a dragon, and it might... Oh no, it misses the M1 here. M1 down to 1 hit point. Got a bit of damage onto the Panzer leader, but it had to disengage now because it needs repairs. New supply needs to come out. M60 is now rolling out onto the battlefield. They are not great against the Leos. They only have 15 pen. They are pretty good against the IFVs. They are pretty good against... Oh no, an iHawk goes down to the Recon Verkenner M113 here with the 50 cal. Both iHawks down. That is bad news as well. And yeah, the M60s, they are not good for the frontline fight. So the TOW2s will have to kind of win that, because the other units on the battlefield cannot do it right now. Ooh,
Yeah.
first
Sequoia
TOW
engaging now with the
gets
tanks.
the kill, but oh no, M1 goes down before the smoke pops. Super unfortunate
Artillery is
timing here,
still not
also
working.
blocking the line of sight for the TOW2 now. TOW2 versus Leo 2 though, gets the kill there. That is good. Trade M1A1 versus Leo 2AB. That's an okay trade. But the units on both sides here are pretty exhausted, and that's okay for Sequoia here at this stage.
Yeah, the that engagement there, just use the artillery, just it's right there. So far, Sequoia has really been rewarded by this aggressive transport vehicle play, sending in the YPRs and the M113s. It allowed him to do the push into the middle, got himself a bunch of kills down south, and even more map control, and even killed at least 2 iHawks with this vehicle, just like going up there. But now there's just not enough stuff on board for Sequoia, and there is reinforcements are coming in. Genie works, which I think is kind of a desperation play here. Yeah, now that the Leopard commander is going out there alone, taking out a ranger, but still getting a lot of damage done. I think Sequoia is running out of units, trying to engage with recon units now, and Reki's deck is better suited, Reki's division is better suited to this kind of versatile all-around the map fighting, whereas Sequoia has been playing properly in that they do want to use their vehicles, and they do want to use their aircraft to gain the space. And now we still have 14 minutes left, and there's only 300 points are required, and I think this might be it for Sequoia, who has really put out a nice showing. But I doubt
Oh,
that
the cheetahs are
will come back.
so
Oh,
damn scary. A10 dying to 2 cheetahs there. The cheetah, the A10 has so much potential here in this matchup. So getting that killed is important. It got the kill onto the Leo leader beforehand. Leo leader not getting any more points. And we have a lot of infantry pushing in here now for the center. And another M1 coming in. The M60 getting the kill onto one of the YPRs. Yeah, one or two M60s earlier into the south, into that infantry push into the town, I think could have secured the whole thing. But getting them now is still not bad for that part. I like where Reki is putting it. It's a way better spot than putting it into the north. Issue for Reki right now is that the TOW2s don't hold the north right now anymore. And the Leo 2 is getting back in there, and that makes the whole scenario of pushing the center not work out as good as hoped, because it will still not bring him the point lead. With the Leo 2 now getting into the zone and killing the TOW2 right there. Running out of TOW2s is pretty brutal right now.
Yeah, I think the M60's purpose is, as you said, they are completely lackluster in fighting most of the tanks here, but they are really nice against the infantry transports, M113s, the M113 CNVs, for instance. That is the hard countered by M60. And as we see with Sequoia, as soon as the recon kind of got into position, the tank attack also finally succeeded. Now a Leopard 2 is getting close to an M1.
Oh no, the M1CP has to get the hell out of there. M60 gets a hit against the YPR, doesn't quite take it out. F-16 cluster comes around, and we remember, no iHawks on the battlefield anymore. So the F-16 gets through and gets the kill. 12 minutes still on the map. It's a +1 for Sequoia. We have another M1 coming up, as the M1 leader in the north has to disengage. The M1A1 can win the fight up there, so that one needs to come around as quick as possible, whilst the infantry push in the middle can work out here. M1 over there gets repaired. The M60 got taken out, and yeah, Bedrecki might bite himself a bit for not contesting Charlie earlier. Because with that being contested earlier, the situation right now would be completely different. A10 coming around. Oh, can it get the kill? It doesn't have line of sight.
No,
once more. Another bad timing, bad Recce A10 that just doesn't get an ATGM off. It's the third time that an A10 got called in this game and didn't get a single missile off because it doesn't have line of sight. The bad recon of Bad Reki really biting him once more here. The lack of good positioned LRS that are a bit out of the line of fire. Like, Bad Reki is putting the recon a bit too much in the line of fire every time, and they get shot up a bit too easily, too early. And that bites him here, as the Eyehawk and Cheetahs get the LGB bomber as well, because Bedreki's LRS were always right in front of the infantry, but that means that's also where the enemy units will push you, and then they got killed over. You kind of want to have them on the side, so that they always can spot for you, and are away from where the enemy is actually moving their units, so that you actually have constant eyes onto the enemy, and that's didn't happen here.
Yeah, you want to abuse the fact that even the larger infantry recon squads get the best.
And we have the autocannon plop just now getting the kills in the middle. So Bad Reki is running out of steam here big time now. The M1A1 went down in the north, as there's a Leo 2A4C now on the battlefield, and that's the good guys. That's the really good guys. That's where you want to use your A10s for. That's what you want to get killed with those. But no A10s anymore, no LGBs anymore, and Bad Reki is running heavily out of steam here in game number 2 as well right now.
Yeah, I spoke way too early when I said this was gonna get finished, but I just saw I saw the A10s out there. I saw the F111 getting bought, and I kind of understood the amount of tanks that each and infantry units that each division has here. But Sequoia is just getting a series of really nice engagements, even after getting completely destroyed by the LGB bomber, losing all their infantry. That Bad Reki just was not diligent enough in checking what's happening, and immediately walked out into the limited counterattack. There were Abrams's there was potential for Abramses to support that push, but they were in there just a little bit too late. And now the LGB plane would be getting eye-hawked and PRTL'd if those units hadn't lost their ammunition. And yeah, I think I gotta say that for Sequoia, from this position, I doubt Reki is microing himself out of it.
Yeah, we see the capture in the north now, another CV coming up. There's just nothing on the battlefield here right now for Bad Reki. Like, all the units are dead, and this is getting into a really bad spot right now. +3, soon to be +4. You don't have any time here on Black Forest to turn it around, and you don't have units here right now for 8th either. And yeah, Bad Reki just leaving a couple too many times units unattended without the combined arms, and a couple of autocannons just threading a couple too many, and then having tanks on the open without the recon and so on. That costs you. He took really good engagements in the middle. There were a couple of really good ones there, but it wasn't good enough. And Sequoia is taking the 2-0 victory here. Deserved once more here in game number 2 as well, as in the end he shredded through the tank fight quite nicely and got the W here.
Yeah, you can just see how many M113 CNVs actually traded up, which is, I'd like to say most of them, considering their recon coverage is also amazing. The fact that these cheap units with such good weapons and with available in numbers, and they get the very good optics, it's just really nice. It provides you with such a great launching point for Leopard Micro, and for artillery usage, and for air usage, and all these things that the Dutch are currently known for. And the 8th, I think you said it earlier, but the taking Charlie early on, securing it as a reinforcement route to attack the town, especially when you could have also attacked the town from 2 different entrances. You can reach the southern entrance of the town from the south, and if you capture that area, the enemy who has concentrated their troops and their mech up north would be off position to respond, and that is kind of what you're trading away when you don't take Charlie. And that is where the momentum was. That is where the constant reinforcement could have happened. But Reki instead opting to switch into the massive mech attack, which then unfortunately did overextend itself.
Yeah, really well played for Division 4. Both players for sure also improving. Like, I know Bedrecky right now in the chat is once more pointing out how terrible he is, but there is improvement. Obviously, maybe not as quick and fast as wanted, but both players did a really good match here, and there were some really nice moves by both. Obviously, yeah, zooming out in WARNO and actually getting the focus there, especially as an uh, FPS player where you have to focus on getting that headshot. Uh, yeah, it's hard, but multitasking is the key in RTS, and keeping a constant uh, track of the situation is so key here. And yep, it's a learning process. That's what Division 4 is for, and it was an entertaining game for sure. We're gonna move up one division now to Division 3, where we're gonna have Ranger versus uh, Dark Knight, I believe, Black Knight. It, and yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun as well. So don't you run away, guys. Division 3, and then afterwards we will have a Division 1 game that is going to be really entertaining as well.
Yes.
So here we go. Division 3 action. Bloody Knight versus Ranger the Chaos. And that's a hot one. And that's a pretty interesting matchup as well that we got here. As we once more see the 4 division. Obviously, Skific really pushed that up there. And on the right side, Ranger here, bringing in a division that is near and dear to my heart. 9th Panzer, rolling onto the battlefield from East Germany here with T-72s. And that's a matchup between two of the strongest Norfax divisions for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, as the Leo 2s have the range advantage on this map, unless they run into the T-72S, which has the severe 2,800 meter range, 21 pen missile that is really, really good as well. So this is going to be a hot one. And yep, two really cool players as well. Bloody Knight saving my ass when he signed up last second for the league to fill up in the last second dropout. So once more there, my thanks go out to Bloody Knight. And both players in the chat as well, which is nice. Let's get into the action here, shall we?
Yeah, so you being the 9th player and me being the 9th hater, I will openly take Bloody Knight's position here, despite my personal relations to Ranger. The 9th it's bullshit. I hate it. I know the Dutch are bullshit also, but at least the Dutch are fun to micro and have like immediately visible weaknesses. And so far, Bloody Knight is taking a very kind of bog standard all-in attack. I love to see the vetted up infantry in the mix there, or assault units, especially opener assault units. Always nice to give them veterancy. There is a 3 Cheetah PRTL AA guns, which are also that's kind of meta. I believe people start out with cheetahs and then they bring out the iHawks. I personally love to bring out the iHawks as soon as possible, but that's just it is a preference thing. I don't trust the cheetahs alone. There is a heavy leopard, one of the C1s. There is already supply, and the rest of the map will be covered by the cheap and effective recon tab, the cheap helicopters and vehicles, and even the engineers. The engineers are moving into the middle, where they will be supported by the M113 CNV, and they will be fighting against the twin Moto Aufklärers that are going to try to capture it for Ranger. I call the middle area Citadel just because that's kind of what it does, even though it's a bunch of disgusting, horrible plastic warehouses. But nevertheless, the fight of the middle will allow either player to basically threaten each other's reinforcement routes, one more directly than the other, and neither player outside of a single unit for Ranger. No, this is actually also going in the middle. Outside of a single ground recon unit, Ranger is also relegating the north there. What the tank advantage currently is with Ranger, bringing out both the cheapest and the most expensive T-72, and it is obvious both players want to do blob tactics, considering they are getting the self-propelled anti-air guns as well as self-propelled the mechanized recon units. So
You
we're going
say
to
the
see
tank advantage is with him? I say two Leo 2s actually played nicely. Absolutely can beat that though. That's two
Oh,
21 pen guns.
I didn't see the second one. I didn't realize there were two of them. Yeah, okay. So especially with the veterancy buff here from the leader, yeah, the leopards are gonna destroy those things pretty easily.
Like
Depends on
they absolutely
control.
have the potential. At least T-72s have a good frontal armor, so they at least don't get one shot there, but they can still get shot to pieces quite quickly. The Me Too Urn chasing the BO is a bit of a mistake here, maybe. The Bloody Knight double recon helicopter, though, classic Skiffic movie here as well. So I see what Bloody Knight did in the last couple of days, watching the Maestro, the kid Maestro from the Prodigy from Serbia there, as the Leo 2A force pushing in, Cheetahs rolling in as well here. Together with the YPRs, so both sides here really focusing on getting the confrontation on in the south.
Yeah, this is the micro advantage will be absolutely with the leopards. They have the better range, they have the better damage, they have excellent stabilizers, and the vehicles are so much more faster than you can get out of danger or out of enemy aiming range or missile range pretty quickly. And but the T-72s, even with the slower rate of fire, if they can engage together, the armor of the leopards is not unbreakable. We're talking most of the tanks have 16 armor, even on the leopard side, and the better ones have 18. And if you suppress them enough, if the leopards get stunned, for instance, the ability for the T-72s to gang up on them and do damage quickly will allow the T-72s to trade up. Even the most expensive T-72 is like that is the same price, actually 5 points cheaper.
Ooh, the F-16 getting it done. The F-16 taking out one of 3 T-72Ss here, and that is super important.
Ones. Oh.
Those are irreplaceable. Like all the other T-72s are easily replaced. The MEVs, they are good, but they are also good in numbers, especially. The T-72S has a capability that you just can't replace in that deck. So losing it early here is pretty painful. Like the only unit that can somewhat mirror it is the Storm, that at least has a 2,800 meter range missile as well. But now the 2 MEVs versus 2 Leo 2s, that is not a good engagement. Ranger realizing that, popping the smoke, trying to get the hell out of there. At least gets decent damage against the C as well, so Bloody Knight has to be careful with pushing further here maybe, but oh, gets another hit on the MEV. This is pretty bad right now, as the front line here for Ranger is pretty thin already. This could spiral out of control pretty quickly at this stage.
Yeah, Ranger has the Citadel solidly, but there's only the BMP to actually use it as a sideline. There are no ATGMs. The Fagot is moving in there and will be able to do some damage, but the Fagot should have already been there. The problem is that the Ranger is like the tank fights went so well with the Dutch that Ranger is buying and heavily committing into the all-in, even at the cost of actually having the concave built up here. And that is giving an opening for Bloody Knight to push this through now. Bloody Knight has the standard KCP Verkeners in a really nice position. If the Verkeners move just slightly, they can spot the entire tank blob repairing right there. And yeah, with the AT plane coming in, and if the AT plane can get a kill here, Fagot is opening side-shotting against the more damaged and gets a stun on the Leopard.
Ooh, C gets the kill. The B does survive. If the second missile would have hit there as well, that would have been absolutely devastating for Bloody Knight, but it's still already pretty... it's like putting a pretty big rock into his plans here. That wasn't planned at all. Throwing a spanner into the wheel, as the Leo 2A4 has to be retreated now as well. And I think Ranger is safe for now in the south, but Ranger has given up the north. And that is a +2 tick coming up for Bloody Knight soon here. And that is an annoying position to push in later in the game as well. T-72S versus YPR gets the kill there. So yeah, Ranger is doing decently in the south, but it will be not super easy to push here either, as an F-16 cluster coming in for the T-72 MEV. Coop not hitting. Shilka getting a bit of damage out. At least the F-16 gets pushed back, and the Coop gets the kill there.
Yeah, not getting the drops, that could have been critical. Just anything, any kill out there would have, especially AA kills, could have started buying Bloody Knight back to tempo. The Bloody Knight, I believe, bought the leader and the Panzerinfanteria up north first minute and third minute in. So in knowing exactly that, like basically having the excellent reaction there, which is kind of proof of almost of controlling the flow of the game, of having the tempo. Now with the 2 tanks up here, 2 leopards, they might try to push up again. There is enough recon, but not enough in the front line. There's only the side Pratt and Berkeners that are currently pushing Ranger back. The T-72s have not really functioned that well so far, but now Moto-Aufklärer is pushing from Ranger's side. There are both the Conqueror's armed BMP as well as the Fagot on the sideline, and the BRM will spot the units as they push up here. This is the engagement and the concave is starting to get a bit more realistic. And so if Bloody Knight doesn't win the second engagement, the tempo could go pretty significantly for Ranger.
Yeah, and there's also that critical moment of T-72 situation where they start to one-shot your Leo 2s because they are just so many. And we are starting to get to that situation here, as there is now going to be 5 of them on the front line soon. And that's going to be a scary situation for the Leo 2s, where they have to be careful of any shot they take, because the potential of the shot that the T-72s get off, maybe stunning them with so much HE just landing close to them, so many shells just flying around, and then getting a lot of damage in. It's going to be scary there for a bit, maybe for Bloody Knight, if the support vehicles are not in position. But they are getting there. We have 2 TOW2 YPRs getting around, and those are obviously amazing. Whilst the Coop getting murdered by the MOR-10 here goes down. MOR-10 so important on Vertigo. Such a great asset and a pretty big problem for Ranger already.
Yeah, Ranger's investment into the tank all-in has now resulted to a group of 5 tanks in the front line, and one of them coming from behind. 2 more Coops have been bought here, so the front line will not be open for the fighters yet. Though with this many, the margins are so thin here that sacrificing fighters to win engagements can actually be worthwhile. So pushing before the Coops are in the front here might be a little bit of a mistake for Ranger. I know that he's been waiting for a long time, but the fighter planes not having a fighter of his own up here is maybe a little bit of a risk. There are the NF. They don't have the NF cluster planes, do they? No, they have the different freedom fighters.
Artillery coming around here. Shilka have to be careful. The what Ranger could maybe use here on this map for the Southern Territory is potentially the Napalm cluster, or the Napalm MLRS as well, to deal with vehicles specifically. Oh no, the second T-72S gets killed by the F-16, as none of the Coops is on the front line. So the F-16 cluster here really doing what it needs to do. Leo 2's now pushing forward. The MUVs now trying to come around here, getting at least kill on the vehicle, but the Leo 2's are a bit on an annoying range where the T-72s don't do critical damage with hits yet. Though when you push 4 of them forward, the Leo 2's still have to be careful disengaging there. But Ranger can't push forward right now. Doesn't have the Coops and doesn't have quite enough recon around either. And the YPRs on the side, those are super scary. TOW2 flying out now has potential to devastate the day of the T-72M. Yeah, gets it and gets the kill there. TOW2 is such a strong asset here.
Yeah, there's a veteran fighter that was bought to cover this, but the Aufklärer was not in position in the buildings to actually spot this. That was a big mistake. Every tank attack always leads with its recon. If you have infantry recon, that's generally better than vehicle recon, but in every case, the tank attack does need to have recon up front. Otherwise, that is exactly what happens. The visibility of the enemy is your biggest opponent. Now, an Su-22 fighter bomber has been bought, but considering that there is both the Cheetah Blob as well as the Eyehawk, it likely should not be getting anywhere near the front line. Though up north, Ranger is getting the information now that the north is free from anti-air.
Yeah, he got the cheetah that was moving up north killed with the storm. The storm in a pretty nice spot there in the middle, and cutting off the reinforcement routes into the north a bit. At the same time, the TOW 2 gets another hit against the MEV. MEV with the autoloader gets the next shot out though and gets the kill, but will need repairs here soon. The MOR-10 constantly firing from the rear, constantly threatening coops. Next coop on the menu here right now, and that might go down here as well to that salvo. Coop not moving just yet, tries to move out, but gets killed off. The KCT Verkenners here, getting absolutely amazing recon from the side, is devastating for Ranger over here right now. Needs to get rid of that, because that spots for the MOR-10 anything it needs to know.
Yeah, Ranger is getting into that. And we've seen Ranger do this before because he's a very, very prominent ninth player in the league. He is getting into the zone of eternal build-up, the tank division dream scenario where you can just sit back and just get everything, get the napalm, and this has given Bloody Knight the ability to both fortify the north and get a very wide front of ATGMs.
Oh no, the cluster bomber! The cluster bombers! It's so annoying. The Coop doesn't get the hit there. At the same time, we have the napalm though, coming along onto the cheetahs, setting the flame all around them, but it's landing all around them, and it didn't burn them fast enough here. One of them might go down. Ooh, two of them might go down. It's super close. One goes down. Second one barely gets it out alive. Unfortunate for the arm 70 firing half a salvo. Can fire a second one though. Motor Aufklärer spots for it. And that onto the forest there right now, that could be game changing here. Absolutely.
Yeah, Aufklärer have pushed the KCT Verkenners out of spotting position, but there is no support for them, and I think the Spec Ops trait will win this and the Veterancy will win this for the Dutch recon. But right now there is a moment. Oh no, a rocket plane is actually being bought by Ranger to get this. I mean, that's a very good value.
No, here. But it's the forests. It's the forests. Oh, no. An S200, S24s just don't like forests. It's the one big weakness of the S24. It just struggles to fire into forests. But if the KCTs actually move out into the open, that works out. So the SU-22 gets rockets out now and gets the kill there. Moving out again. Eyehawk out of ammo in the rear. Arm 70 aiming for killing off the cheetahs. Not aiming for the forest, but that can still happen later.
Yeah, it's just that despite the artillery doing great work here now, the Bloody Knight's fundamentals, kind of Bloody Knight's positioning of the tanks and the vehicles all around the map do provide him with quite nice map control in relation to how many units they have. And with Ranger does not have the offensive fist. There is there's like 2 T-72s on board right now, 2 more coming up, and the +2 is still ticking, and the reinforcements are still coming in for Bloody Knight. This eternal turtling and eternal build-up and losing the momentum against the enemy really is hitting Ranger hard right now. The targeted attack against the T-72Ss, the actually really powerful ones that can do good damage against the Leopards, that has been one of the main reasons why I think Ranger is just constantly taking these mediocre engagements and not really doing anything. The recon advantage is the second one, and the recon disadvantage, I mean, they're just not having enough of it around and not having it early enough.
And we have now 5 Leo 2s on the map, and that's where the T-72 blob starts to just not cut it anymore. The BMP-1s here starting to getting into unfavorable fights against YPRs as well, but it's 2 of them, so one of them hitting might be good enough, but none of them is hitting. The napalm has to go for its long reload, and it didn't get the cheetahs. Second salvo got dodged completely. 152mm is around as another 2 Leo 2s come out, but the Leo 2 number is down to only 4 right now, as they have been reduced quite heavily over the time by artillery, by
No, that's 5.
clusters. And
That's 5.
yeah, they are coming up, sure, but on the front line, it's quite right now. It's only 2 out of 6 that we had there a couple of minutes ago, and the
Well,
numbers
again,
have been reduced. There is no plop right now. Like, you would need 6 right now on the front line to actually get something done. Instead, it's being stuck here whilst losing the north. Being the issue of 9th, it's a pretty clunky division. It is cheaper than some super heavy divisions, but it's still a tank division that doesn't get the best early game deployment, and that has to go places in force, and it didn't go places in force in this one.
Yeah, the napalm here is I'm kind of itching to see it fired upon. The 2 cheetahs were still alive, and the points and the time that has been spent here has just allowed this constant stream of mechanized infantry and the recon and TOW2s. There's even a helicopter in the base, I think, to make sure that there are no backline action happening from Ranger to threaten this. And yeah, the front line. I mean, I don't know if I don't even know where Ranger could realistically put up the front line. Like, maybe Ranger's tank should attack north, and the ATGMs should try to hold the middle. Try to prod the enemy into attacking by moving your forces north, and then try to win it in that engagement with the good positions in the middle. But that's like pretty advanced here. I think everybody's just planning for the decisive battle, and the decisive battle is can be very enjoyable, because if you're really good at doing the rhythm, if you're really good at moving the units in the right order, in the right positions, not overextending, not going too slowly, that's a skill, and you can learn it. And if your opponent doesn't have that skill, it may look like completely surprisingly suddenly the tide has turned. But so far, Bloody Knight has just been very competent in every regard, really. So I'm not sure if that is going to happen.
Yeah, we have decent amount of T-72s here, but the MR-10's just constantly doing damage. And on Vertigo, that's just so brutal. If you are the ones focusing on the south but not getting anywhere, like, yeah, being on the artillery side when you're stuck in this little area of the map, it's just so brutal. If you're a bit more spread out, it's not as bad. It still can be tough, but the MR-10 is just in a really fantastic spot here. And the Storms and T-72s here setting up, but so are Bloody Knight's forces, and this is a pretty big pickle that Ranger is in here. Didn't get the cheetah, so using air spam to victory is not really an option either, which might have been an option otherwise, but that's not here. That's not in it here right now either. So it has to be done with T-72s, and that's just such an uphill battle if the enemy has 5 Leo 2s and TOW2s on the battlefield.
Yeah, 3 tanks are moving up now. 3 of them are staying still. Sturm is in a side position, but not in cover. Engagement happening.
T-72's pushing in. 1 Leo engaging on its own, gets damaged, has to disengage. But now more of them coming into the action, and the other T-72 is currently not following chase here after the first 2. Only a YPR killed, whilst F-16 comes in, gets hit here, gets killed. F-16 cluster finally down, but the Storm goes down at the same time. 2 YPRs down, but one of them died in the north actually, where T-72 is brought around as well. Not sure that's the best space right now to try to invest something into. Su-22 AT is on the battlefield again, but can't really go anywhere right now. And that's a big problem. The YPRs get taken out, but they are not the key factor here anyway.
Yeah, the Leopards are so fast that now they can immediately just go and start pursuing. This engagement so far has been going pretty well for Ranger, even despite the fact that this is happening from behind a tick. Ranger's artillery is slightly in wrong position, and right now the Leopards are engaging in a group, and having the Verkeners in the front is giving them enough vision. The Pratt defense in depth was really nice, and the
Oh
moves
no.
being able to dodge it
Yeah, and
was well
T-72
played.
bleeding just continues, and that's just something that you can't afford. Like, if you get your T-72s to actually be aggressive tools and you trade them, that's fine. But if you bleed them and the Leo 2s never die, that's a problem. And
Here comes the
like, we
AT.
never had the critical mass here being on the front line that can one-shot the Leo 2s, and that's allowed the Leo 2 number to grow and just be equal to the T-72s, because there are things that can one-shot T-72s. There are a few things that can one-shot Leos. Finally, an SU-22 does that, but the numbers are pretty heavily against Ranger here right now, and the +2 at 1,300 points at this stage means that Ranger needs to completely steamroll Bloody Knight from this map, and it's hard to see that happening.
Yeah, this is the number of Leopards, and the fact that the Leopards are they have such a better ability to engage things because of their speed. Getting too close here and allowing the T-72s.
Yeah, two of them might go down here. One already went. Second one goes down as well. That's a bit of an overextension here. But there is not quite enough T-72s right now to punish this. The Napalm is reloaded. That could maybe try to get some damage again, but nothing really on the battlefield here right now. Really, the second shot shouldn't have gone for the Cheetah, but for the Forest, and allowed maybe for a push earlier. But T-72 is now paying for it as well here against the Leo 2. Second shot actually gets the Leo 2 killed. But it's a bit too little too late here, most likely. YPR and another Leo 2 round. Toe 2 gets hit in, gets the stun, and the T-72s are in big trouble.
Yeah, that engagement with the tanks that are left, the Ranger is getting really nice numbers, and against that very powerful front line of Leopards. Slight overextension that was then punished, but the problem is that the one side has been doing this all game, and one side has constantly had to resupply. The AT planes being the saving grace there. If they had run out of ammunition, or the smoke ammunition, and they couldn't smoke away, maybe there could have been numerous kills with the planes, not just that one, the last one with the Bloody Knight's position being so powerful that the tanks didn't have to do a smoke engagement earlier was the reason why the AT planes were not the choice. And the fact that the reason why this was possible for Bloody Knight was because they had invested in the Pratts and had their units positioned in such a way that if the T-72s were going to go out there, the Pratts would be the one to engage them. So they didn't have to spend their smoke, so they could smoke against the AT planes, and then the AT planes didn't work out. And in this way, this very good decision making and very kind of versatile and well-practiced play from Bloody Knight is resorting in everything Ranger doing being just not good enough.
Yeah, the introduction of the Prats with the Totus was really well done. And the cluster F-16 obviously doing a good job as well. Coops being hunted down by artillery, and the Ranger just playing the game Bloody Knight wanted to play. Not stretching out the game, the stage, not getting storms into the south, just playing it way too slowly, while still not being aggressive enough in this one spot where the units were concentrated, and allowing an MOR-10 to just get value shot after value shot, and just fully playing into the 4th Division here. And yeah, 4th Division showing all the traits that made it go 100-0 with Skiffic here, and Bloody Knight playing it pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoy people who are not in the top leagues kind of playing these well-practiced meta tactics well, because the Dutch tactic and the Dutch strat is very powerful, but it's not immediately obvious on how to play it. So it is nice to see how even our, I believe, Division 3 players here are have managed to adopt this stuff from the top tiers. And if they can do it, you can also. And it doesn't, like you said, they most likely have been watching Skiffic. But even then, if you get faced by this stuff, try to pay attention to the order of how when people buy units, the recon positions, the positions where the units take defenses. This is all stuff that you can learn by watching these well-practiced tactics if they are done against you, and that because those small things really start building up, and those skills will translate into playing other divisions as well.
Here we have the big T-72 plop now, trying it one last time here. It doesn't have recon though. The TOW 2 here gets through out alive. There is a low number of Leo 2, but it's still 2 of them. There is still more Prats coming up, so the AT situation is not too terrible still, and the T-72s here even getting hit further, and there we go. GG being called. Bloody Knight taking game number 1 here against Ranger to Chaos, and that it was well deserved. That was a really clean 4E game, and Ranger didn't do terrible micro there, but Ranger just put himself right into the convex when the concave was there on the other side, and he just
Convex.
Just feed it into Bloody Knight's side.
Yeah, Ranger, who is and in Twitch chat, go follow Ranger. Ranger is streaming actually, and nowadays, so go click on his face and follow the stream. But yeah, Ranger in chat was saying that there was really bad AA RNG, and I like to say here the AA RNG is the result, not the cause. There wouldn't have been those cluster bombers repeatedly diving the high-tech T-72 SS. That wouldn't have happened if Bloody Knight didn't have the recon advantage. The recon advantage there was the key. The air RNG situation only happened due to a skill issue. And the skill issue is allowing the enemy to get the KCT Verkeners in a spot where they can see every time your expensive T-72 is out there. That like you can't expect your standard AA configurations to bail you out in those situations.
And GGVP here for sure to Bloody Knight. If you guys want to support the tournament, you can do so via Matcherino. You can use the short break that we get into now to go over to Matcherino and just put in 25 cents completely for free by clicking the claim code button over here. That adds 25 cents to the prize pool here completely for free. And it will be paid out to the players in the end. We have a couple of nice stretch goals out here as well. And yeah, if you want to support it, check that out. It's in the chat right now on YouTube and Twitch. And we're going to go into a short break, guys. And then we're going to be back with game number 2 between these two. And it was a pretty interesting game number 1. Let's see if the matchup allows for a bit closer one in the second one. So here we go. Game number 2. Bloody Knight versus Ranger to Chaos. And Bloody Knight up 1-0. And we go to a classic map. We go to Two Lakes. And I hate it. I don't want to be on this map anymore. And I don't get why people pick it in League. But people are here voluntarily. I don't understand those people. But they are seemingly out there. Not sure who of those 2 people picked it. But I hate them for it. But it's a classic Two Lakes game that we get here. And it's 4 of Mudshits in here with a lot of forward deployment for the Ranger to Chaos, coming in against an absolute juggernaut of a division that is 5th Panzer. Lots of Martyrs, lots of Leos, both the fantastic Leo 2Cs and Leo 1s, and good artillery there as well. Bombers can be pretty scary as well with the tornadoes, but on the other side, the Fallschirmjägers are fantastic for deployment. You get a decent bit of AA, though against the helicopters of 5th you don't need the Strelas really. And yeah, the Fallschirmjägers coming in numbers. You get some slightly cheaper T-55s now even. And the MiG-21 bomber got buffed. So that deck got that as well. So fourth might be back on the menu here with some slight buffs to it. It has fallen a bit out of favor, but with its rush and a decent amount of combined arms behind that, it absolutely still can do it.
Yeah, the fourth motto is the one division that can basically buy special forces troops as line infantry. Their forward deployment, because everybody knows East Germans are just better, and standard East German infantry will have the resolute trait. The East German reservists will not have the honor trait or whatever, disheartened. And the Fallschirmjäger's standard forward deployment infantry has the special forces trait. And this trait is basically acts kind of like an extra level, and is very useful when you want to get early game infantry victories that you can then fortify with your defensive but still like decent tank tab, where you have the bastion armed hyper modernized T-55s, which are the main thing that you can do. In close ranges you can have the best IFV in the game, which is a T-55 as Protoss calls it. And and you also have a very nice smattering of support units, air and artillery and AA and this kind of stuff. But the problem is that no matter how good you win your openers, Fifth Panzer will outscale you. This is a map where stuff happens very straightforwardly. It is a comfort map for some. Maybe that is why they are picking it. And this is a map where you can win the match with your division picks quite easily, as long as you know how to perform. And Ranger's very aggressive forward deployment opener is basically preparing for a massive infantry assault from the opponent. Whereas Bloody Knight has, you can see the Bloody Knight has two tanks, one of them which is a modern tank, and two Rolands. The Roland 3s being here speaks of Bloody Knight wanting to grow this blob and wanting to keep it safe from the enemy bombers and fighter bombers. And the even if the engagements happen 5 minutes onwards, there is basically no place that Ranger can realistically push. So Ranger can only do defense, while Bloody Knight is signaling complete investment into the buildup of this tank force. So difficult to micro your situation, micro yourself away from that situation.
Yeah, Fallschirmjägers here getting a decent hold of Zulu, getting an absolute stranglehold on Oscar, as nothing even tried to contest that from Bloody Knight. So that is pretty decent. Fallschirmjägers have to disengage in the north now from the Leo 1s and Martyrs, but they have a bit of depth in there to do so, and the T-55s come up forward. The Leo 2A4s are the problem. The T-55s can take an engagement against everything else. The Leo 2s have to be taken care of in a different form. Most likely air, helicopters potentially, but yeah, something needs to deal with the Leo 2s in a different way. The one good thing about this is Leo 2 doesn't have the best HE output, so your infantry can hold out a bit longer there than against other vehicles maybe. But MiG-21 rocket here trying to come around, killing off everything around the Leo 2, most likely the best idea on how to deal with the Leo 2 here.
Yeah, there is already 2 minutes in. Bloody Knight bought a howitzer, so this it's pretty obvious to see where this is going now. The Fallschirmjägers will do nice damage, but as long as the Martyrs and the Leo 1s are microed in the position to attack the Fallschirmjägers...
Ooh, the MiG-23 is getting in though. The Roland's not doing the job, and MiG-23 actually sneaking into the Leo 2A4. Really painful there. MiG-21 rocket number 2 though, doing a bit of suicidal stuff there. So the Rolands get another shot off. Luckily for the MiG-21, not getting the kill. One of the Rolands stunned by a couple of rockets on it. So, but the second one not getting the second hit there. A bit unfortunate for Bloody Knight. As Me Too helicopter though gets shredded. But the Modschützen have the advantage against the Panzergrenadiers. Panzergrenadiers, pretty decent damage output, but they are only 6 hit points, so they can get killed. Seed misses the Roland, so that's good for Bloody Knight there, as the Seed got hit. Will take the damage potential out of the air here for a bit. At the same time, though, the infantry fight's gonna be painful. The Martyrs need to get involved, but at least they seem to manage to do that for now.
Yeah, Bloody Knight having only 0 vet units here kind of speaks of the tactic that is being done here. This seems to be a well-prepared and practiced and repeated and repeated and repeated, because this game keeps forcing us to play this map tactic on how to attack against a forward deployment infantry division on this site. You secure this corner, as you can see, the Fernspare and the Marder. You don't try to push too far. You invest heavily into anti-air, and then you keep sending these 0 vet units to push the corner and trade away your enemy with your fire support. And the enemy's main way to counter this, which is the air, can be slowly whittled away, and not even that slowly whittled away, by the combined Rolands. And the Rolands are self-propelled, so the enemy can't really buy artillery to counter them, because you can just routinely move them back and forth.
Yeah, T-55 number 1 is out, has its scary ATGMs, but it gets hit by a power helicopter here. Should smoke off, as the Leo 2 is around as well, and the first T-55 AM2B gets killed off already. We have a Rapira around. That is pretty nice against the Martyrs. That is a pretty nice support weapon, but the Martyrs have shredded through so many Fallschirmjägers and Mudschützen in the middle already. So the situation here is tending in favor of Bloody Knight right now, as the Fallschirmjägers are under pressure. Rapira trying to push forward. Next T-55 coming in. 2 more tanks rolling in behind them. They are slightly cheaper, as I said, but they're still not amazing in this matchup here, as they don't one-shot Martyrs, and they take a bit of time to kill the Martyrs. The 14 frontal armor is nice, but it won't keep you alive for too long against Leos, and the 14 pen of the main gun of the T-55 is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, even Milan 1s of the Martyrs can do front damage to you, which kind of limits you if you want to push with the tanks as well, because you're gonna have to you can only take like 3 different Milan 1 hits before you're done, and your rate of fire isn't that quick with only 8 plus veterancy, of course.
Yeah, T-55 AM2 pushing forward. The other T-55s moving up behind it. BRM-1K coming along as well, and we see Bloody Knight getting the CV in here now, starting to capture. The Fallschirmjägers still around, but pretty low. Some supply would be really helpful for them. A T-813 on the field that can resupply the Fallschirmjägers. The situation still could shift, but Panzergrenadiers pretty low here as well, so this absolutely could happen. Supply truck really would go a long way here for Ranger in this town fight.
Yeah, there's also, I believe, artillery, because you do get some as 4th. It is an infantry division. It's not just commando forward deployment infantry. The artillery could maybe prove to be critical here, considering everything is constantly being on the sidelines. The fire support advantage of the Martyrs will not be solved by the T-55s or the SPWs, especially not in this position, where there needs to be something, and I don't think bombers are a good investment against this 4 Roland front line.
Yeah, next Fallschirmjäger goes just down before the... Oh no! Oh no! He puts the T-813 onto a road where he already saw that there was autocannon fire there, and the T-813 goes down. So no resupply for these Fallschirmjägers that survived for so long. Really unfortunate there. Mudschützen SVD arrived. Those are pretty capable in the fights here against the Panzergrenadier as well, as they have a sniper rifle too. And the Panzergrenadiers all on 0 vet, so they get stunned down pretty quickly and allow the Fallschirmjägers and the Mudschützen here to dish out the damage, whilst not taking all that much. Whilst the Martyrs, though, those are the important parts, but the German autocannons, not the most accurate either, so without range scaling, they start on pretty low HE as well.
Yeah, the Armada Milan's now securing the way for the Aufklärer to go watch the only available reinforcement route currently. The Leopard 2s are pushing and are cutting off one of the routes, and MI8 munitions is
Oh,
dropping down.
MiG-23 gets both hit,
Oh,
gets the kill on one of the two A4Cs, and that is pretty big. The Roland 3 gets the shutdown on the kill on the return. At least that happened, but yeah, MiG-23 AT around as well. Trying to come around here. Roland 3s. Oh, there's 3 of them now. That MiG-23 AT is not getting out alive here, is it? No. Goes down. Fallschirmjäger Führer in the south has to be careful with some smoke play. But it might get the capture of the whole zone here now. The Mi-8 goes down before it can resupply the Fallschirmjägers once more. Artillery play of Bloody Knight. Pretty good here. But it's back to a +2 here for Ranger now, as Ranger got rid of the CV of Bloody Knight in the middle here as well.
Yeah, the T-55s of Ranger did not try to follow through and hunt down that wounded Leopard that has now escaped and is going to repair itself. The T-55s are moving only now out, and but I think this kind of more conservative play is probably good, that you don't take too many risks when your opponent is already striking at your right flank and once again cutting off reinforcement routes. There needs to be a containment, a stabilization from the side of Ranger, and going and trying to find out risking overextension at this point is not probably the best idea. The Mi-24B and rockets striking against Marders, but now helicopters need to be invested into dealing with this backline action. Bloody Knight is just getting the tempo completely.
Yeah, but he is overextending there a bit. Marder's getting killed off as well. The MiG-23s are struggling against the Roland situation now, and the T-55s pushing in a bit in the north. They actually don't get attacked by tanks, and the Marders all a bit too far forward. Pretty easy kills there as well. At the same time, the seaplane gets pushed back before it can get a Roland kill, but the Marder number is getting reduced pretty efficiently here by the T-55s right now, though now they overextended. And now there is a Jaguar 2 as well, and those hot 2s, or tow 2s actually, hurt pretty badly. The 1A5 capable gun as well, so both T-55s go down in the end. Overextension there by Ranger, starting well, taking away a good amount of fire support, but in the end losing maybe more than he gained from that push.
Yeah, the pack guns are a good counter to the Marders, because the Marders have such short range for their HE damage, and the Bastion missiles can easily take them out. And if the support weapons, such as the Conquerors and the Bastion equipped forces, can take out those sides, and the occasional air attack can punch back the Leopards from breaking through, I think there is still a chance here for Ranger, but.
Also,
finally some supply.
One massive mistake in my eyes by Ranger, by Bloody Knight, is that he uses the Marder 1A2 instead of the Marder 1A3, because
Yes,
there is the Bastion missile with 18 damage. You need 14 damage difference to one-shot armored vehicle. And that's exactly what you get against the A2 with its 4 frontal armor. The A3 has 5 frontal armor, so it doesn't get one-shotted. Oh no, right, it's 5th Panzer. Yeah, right. It's 5th Panzer. I was thinking about 2nd Panzer Commander here for a second. My mistake.
Yeah, me too, actually.
But yeah, it's the perfect weapon against Marder 1A2s. The Bastion. It one-shots them exactly, so you don't overpay for it. It's a fast missile, it's a long-range missile, it's a hard-hitting missile. So it's the perfect Marder killer.
Yeah, and the perfect pack killer is the 155mm howitzer that is currently firing at the pack, the MT-12. The helicopters have been able to clean up the last infantry, the Lance Panzergrenadiers, but these zero Panzergrenadiers, losing them is not the biggest problem, as long as this core mechanized force, protected now by, still 4 Rolands, a Schwillinger, there's a second Schwillinger, even more Schwillingers coming up right now, actually. that may be a bit of an overinvestment. You can just get a single Gepard. Oh no, there's a MW1 IDS. Oh no, 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 no. This second engagement, considering how tightly packed the Ranger is, there is artillery disadvantage. There is fire support disadvantage. There's like if the MW1 goes out there and punches a hole into those Fallschirmjägers, that could be the thing that tips the scales.
Yeah, the resupply finally happened, so all the Fallschirmjägers are back in business now, but the
Oh
Mehrzweckwaffe
no.
is coming in. It's going into the wrong spot. It's taking out the leader. It doesn't take out the infantry line, though. But it might allow the capture of the point with the Jägerführer. Though +2 for now still happening. T-55 AM2, though, gets taken out by artillery. The Mi-24 AP is pretty low as well. So, yeah, Ranger is starting to struggle here a bit on the defense. Pioneer pushing in. Zwilling actually getting damaged here by the Modschützen before it can see them. So the Modschützen taking the Zwilling pretty low, but the Zwilling now opening up fire and still doing pretty good damage back. Fallschirmjäger's pushing forward. With the 1 hit point difference now, the Zwillings get taken out a decent bit faster. So they are not quite as OP in this role as they had been before, but they still do a decent job. On the other side, 30mm grenade launcher getting into a spot as well to help out here. Pioneers getting overwhelmed, and the Modschützen SVD, they survive, so they can be brought back up to full strength.
Yeah, if the Schwilling can start out firing at immediately when something gets in range, they can pretty easily get a stun off, unless it is at vetted up special forces units that have so much stress resistance that they can actually keep firing for a moment, maybe even lower the cohesion of the Schwilling and thus make it even less usable. Finally, the Aufklärer down south is getting taken out. The Mi-2 recon moving just a little bit further. The southern flank is controlled currently only by a single Marder Milan, but that's not something the Ranger necessarily realizes. The helicopter can go out there. Oh, the Jaguars just arriving, actually. Oh, wait, was that? But anyways, the Jaguars could move and take control of the southern side. So currently, I think this tight formation for Bloody Knight's forces is purely about attritioning away the air. That there is no use sending your tanks or Jaguars to counter the southern point, because at any point, this is the theory here, is that at any point you can move down south, you can capture the area back. But right now, they want to prioritize just taking away every threat to the heavy tanks, which
Yeah,
is the
we
planes
just saw
and
the
all
siege
the
plane
tanks.
going down. It got a roll on 3 killed, but that's not a great trade. And so the siege plane went down. Bloody Knight getting the Zwillings in here, but not having the infantry anymore because a lot of Panzer Grenadiers went down in these fights to actually push through. Artillery can help out a bit, but yeah, the issue of Panzer Grenadiers just being a bit too flimsy and getting killed off is for sure real here right now, leading to a good amount of struggle in this situation. T-55s and Fallschirmjägers holding the line, and Tornado Mehrzweckwaffe here in the south actually not really getting a kill. MiG-29 trying to get a kill on them, fails as well though, as the Mehrzweckwaffe only dropped like a fifth of its clusters, and they also were, I think, more spread because of the stress. So Fallschirmjäger still around, and this push in the south completely fumbling. More Panzer Grenadiers going down, Fallschirmjäger Medis plus Fallschirmjäger just holding the line really nicely here for Ranger, and that's a lot of points here for Bloody Knight, just kind of thrown away.
Yeah, the zero vet infantry, I get why it is there. I get that the players want to have the numbers, but in many situations they just don't perform. The Panzer Grenadiers, who do not have immediate support from all of the tanks, are already in trouble against Fallschirmjägers. But these are zero vet Panzer Grenadiers. They're like their capacity to put down DPS gets destroyed so quickly that they never get the chance to actually attack the cohesion of East Germans. The East Germans have both the veterancy up as well as the resolute trait, and on average, basically one resolute equals one more level up for the stress resistance. And so if you have a and the spec ops trait also gives the resolute trait, I believe. So the Motorschützen basically have 2 levels up from the Panzergrenadiers and their larger squads, and the Fallschirmjägers being even on top of that. This means that the damage literally is not being done by the infantry. The infantry go out there and wait in fire, never being able to provide the suppression themselves. And that is where the tank should be coming in. And Bloody Knight has been using them quite carefully. Looking at the map here, the time here, of course, maybe we're gonna see like a big final all in 20 minutes in, but whatever defenses Ranger can have are out here. The T-55 should maybe be in cover, but there's a bunch of packs, there are a bunch of coups, there are a bunch of helicopters, even the artillery is up right now. That it's not going to be a cakewalk anymore. It could have been maybe earlier, but Bloody Knight was playing carefully.
Yeah, and what Bloody Knight maybe missed out on is actually bypassing the town in the north and isolating it. Instead of bumping your head into this stronghold, you can isolate it quite nicely with your heavy air armor by just moving around the roads on the sides and getting a cutoff. There was a bit of an attempt in from the south, but the northern pincer wasn't moving there, and that is one of the problems that now bites them, because they don't have control over the north anymore, and there is now too many T-55s to get easily through there again, when earlier it was pretty available, and that could have shut down the reinforcement road into the town, and that then also could have been a threat towards Alpha, and slowly but surely also taken the supplies and the forces out of the town, and then that could have been done as well.
Yeah, the artillery now opening fire finally, and doing some nice damage against the enemy infantry leader. The packs get smoked, but the T-55s are in position to open fire. This is a rare situation where the Leopards are worse than T-55 AM2s because of the 2,800 meter range that allows them to keep up this very reliable fire on long range. And because even if the Leopards don't necessarily die from this fire, the cohesion damage means that they will be risk of getting stunned. And if you get stunned, anything can basically sideshot you. Airplanes can pick you out very easily. 2 more MiG-23s with the AT rockets and standard rockets coming out.
Another Leo 2AC goes down. Tornado Mehrzweckwaffe from the other side actually misses once more, not getting the kill onto the Fallschirmjägers, not getting the side run. If it would make a run from the north over all these buildings, it could actually get 3-4 kills there easily, but the martyrs go down instead, and red side is not losing anything here right now, and that is pretty bad news for Bloody Knight in a game where it's all about getting this strong force through and getting towards Alpha. It's just not moving. And now martyrs move into the town. That's a really bad idea. That's a desperation push, and that is not going to pay off here, as a lot of ATGMs are still flying. Martyrs going down left and right, and those are so important here. So yeah, the artillery not being resupplied, or it is actually now resupplied, but it's not shooting for a while. Could have helped with the town a lot if it would have constantly been firing. But yeah, Bloody Knight losing a bit of the focus and not quite playing to the strengths of 5th Panzer. 5th Panzer's control over the open map, over the open terrain, should have been the way to victory. Instead, it's too much focus on trying to grind into the center of the town, and you just won't get into the center of the town here.
Yeah, like you're choosing to fight the worst possible battle. Like at the earlier on, this was a good idea because it could have worked, and it almost did work. It was really tightly. I think just the Mehrzweckwaffe on its own, being bought earlier, could have changed the game. But now we have the typical horse blinder effect, where Ranger has been given the chance to basically build a perfect concave defense all around the map here to support his big, strong special forces squad in the town. Like this is this is the dream scenario for Ranger, and that all the mech try to forcibly push themselves through this very tight corridor, which is flanked by every side of red map control. Like the horse blinder effect here, like you just move them, just go out there, go a little bit further down south, and just flank something. Just go to the different town. What do you think you think these pack MTs are going to start pushing to the industrial zone? No, just leave them there. But when you're in the game, like this is I see the Milan 2s are getting bought here. Like Bloody Knight is so into winning this one engagement and winning the game with it that there are Milan 2s getting bought here instead of any kind of push on the other parts of the map. The horse blinders are real, and with good enough positioning and this very kind of defensive, flexible defense thing that's going on with the T-55s, Ranger has been given the perfect way to counter. One of the only ways that the T-55. Another siege plane.
Yeah, and the Roland's all dead already. So the push in the north by now costs too much as well, because it ran into all these ATGMs a couple too many times. Jaguars and so on went down there too. So this situation didn't work out. The Mehrzweckwaffe didn't really got the runs it needed either. And we are at a +2, still going on, 1,100 points on the bank, and fourth is doing it fourth style, getting the early lead and then just attritioning, and nobody does trades better than fourth. They can trade their stuff and still have a combined arms. You can trade stuff against them, and then you don't have a combined arms anymore, because you don't have any infantry anymore, because all your panzer grenadiers are gone, or you lose your AA, and then they can bomb you, or you lose your recon, and then you don't see anything when they fire the ATGMs at you. Like, fourth really was the king of cost efficiency, and with the latest buffs, they might have gotten back there. They're the king of combined arms, and yep, fourth doing it here once more.
Look at the Fallschirmjäger Metis kill feeds here. This is like insane. And remember, these are all the units that they killed, not the ones that they did damage to.
Yeah, and they got constantly reinforced throughout the game as well. And yeah, Panzer Grenadiers just without veterancy not taking these traits. So really well done by Ranger, playing fourth exactly to its strength, and exactly the issue that Bloody Knight had here. Fifth not really played to its strengths, and that loses you the game on 2 legs. And Ranger getting the equalizer here on the board in the end. And that leads us to the final series of the day, and that's a hype one for sure, as we have a pretty up-and-coming Stahlbrecher who already got a tie against Tiberius Rancor and against Stardek. And on the other side, we have a Pro Commie, who obviously is an absolute beast. So that should be an interesting series. As Pro Commie,
we have such great divisions as well. We've got the metaest of meta divisions here. I'm very interested in seeing this.
So yeah, quick break, guys, and then we're gonna go into Division 1, where Pro Commie will meet Stahlbrecher. So here we go, everybody. As we still have to update the stats up the top, as we are in Division 1, everybody. And we have Stahlbrecher coming in on the left side with his favorite division currently. And Pro Commie with maybe the division that counters that the best, actually. As at least Tiberius Rancor says so. As we have 5th Blinde versus 20th Panzerna. And that is a hot matchup, as it's the cost-efficient tanks against each other. It's T-72s with great frontal armor versus the 5th Blinde with a lot of autocannons, a lot of solid infantry as well, and a good amount of speed. And that is going to be interesting. We also have good recon on the side of 20th Panzer. It's the quicker version of those T-72 divisions. It's not quite as clunky as 9th Panzer, which makes it the better tank for ranked especially, and I think also the better division for this matchup, as it can't follow if Fifth wants to play the tempo, but it also still has the amount of just heavy stuff to play that around as well. So Fifth Plane Day, 20th Panzerna, a really, really hot matchup. Two meta divisions, and yeah, Tiberius Rancor says he does really well with 20th Panzerna, and I believe him. He is an expert of 5th Plane Day. He is an expert of 20th Panzerna, and this should be quite interesting.
Against 5e, well, you want to be just a little bit heavier, heavy enough to actually be a tank division, but cheaping out on all the other stuff. You know, the rate of fire is slower with the T-72s, but only the T-72s, specifically the Polish ones, can realistically blob up against the French. And if you can blob up against the French, if you can engage the tanks in numbers, thus making them lose all the points that they have paid for those weapons, and also you can prevent the enemy from building up this wide net of ATGMs that they could do in the late game, you can actually punch through it. And you don't want to invest too much in your infantry because the French are so good against infantry, and that is exactly why the Poles are nice here. Piechota Schmeck going in the BMP ones, the 25, that's a 65 point combination of units. It is suitable enough. The Polish AT weapons being bad doesn't matter as much because the French have bad armor, and you know you're not going to win with infantry anyway, so it's okay to go against grenadier voltigeurs with your weak and lightly armed squads. That's not the point here. I think that is kind of the logic with which you can you can face 5e and target neutralize 5e strengths with your own tempo.
Yeah, and I just remembered it's exactly the matchup that got Tiberius Rancor the win in the draw that he had against Stahlbrecher. That got Stahlbrecher into the position here. Stahl having one win against both Tiberius and against against Stardeck, whilst Pro Comics so far only one game in, one draw against Stardeck. So both kind of need a win in this series. So it's a lot on the line here when they want to make it out into the playoffs. The AMX 10 RC Super Plane coming in here into the center with a 19 penetration gun is pretty scary against all the IFVs that could be pushing forward, but against the T-72s, that's not quite enough. And we have a Vilk from the get-go, so the heavy long-range gun boy. That is interesting, and I think it makes sense because the other T-72s you can run away from with your MX-30s. This one, not quite the same. You can't kite them. So having one of them here out early makes pretty good sense. But
It's
with
also nice
two-star
against
veterans
Torpedo.
coming in with them, there will only be a second one of them, I believe. So the Vilk numbers here will be pretty limited.
Yeah, I like the Mount River kind of looks like an infantry-centered map because it has so much cover and so many urban points. But I've really kind of felt that people in the competitive scene are using it as this a tank all-in map, much like Vertigo. But unlike on Vertigo, if you want to rotate away from your tank all-in in the middle, you can actually do that. The map is designed well enough that you are not locked into this permanent fight. The engagements in the middle are so difficult. But and a lot of the time we see people sending out and investing heavily into tanks, into high vet units, and trying to get a win here uh, in the opener. The using gazelles, helicopters is very and even recon rushes is quite common to try to get to X-ray. And I think the reason for that is that if you get to hold this zone, you get such a large wide front that you can counter the kind of middle tank spamming, blobbing tactics that tank divisions do here. So on both sides, they have they want to be out there first, whether it be with recon units or with Surblindes or whatever, and both players know that if the enemy gets there, they're gonna have to rotate and start pushing some other part of the zone, because it's just gonna be bad trades after bad trades.
Okay, the Mephisto is super important in this matchup with its 24 penetration missile, though it has to be careful to not get shot here by BMP2s, BMP1s actually. And the Mephisto gets stunned there, VAB goes down. Mephisto is lucky enough to not get killed immediately, but T-72's coming along here now to give fire support already as well. ATGM's flying around, Mephisto getting smoked actually by Pro Commie there. Is lucky with those hits, and now we have 3 Prentices pushing around from the other side. T-72's getting around, getting to get some shots out as well. BMP1's here getting involved. Both sides taking a lot of shots. Nothing is dying so far. There goes a BMP1. There goes a Prentice. T-72's with the double hit. There goes a BMP1 on the other side. Both T-72's for now still alive. Keeping up the pressure, getting a second Prentice. That is pretty bad news for Stahlbrecher, and that's exactly where 20th Panzer wants to be. MiG-21 bomber coming in as well, stunning the Super Blinde. Not a good start for Stahlbrecher here in the middle right now. Second bomber misses because of the smoke though, so at least it doesn't get finished off here. Mephisto needs to get some hits in here, but does miss here once more as well, as it is pretty stressed out. The T-72's doing exactly what they want to do.
The Dragon Paras are spotted. If Dragon Paras get taken out, that's going to be a massive problem here. The Alouette can keep up some amount of recon, but the Alouette can be taken out by a passing fighter. The Honkers are already pushing up front here. The all-in nature of this kind of tank warfare map that we got going on here on Mount River, the both sides sending in the planes was a good example of all-in gameplay. Both sides recognize that this opening bout, this kind of jousting here, is going to decide the way the rest of the game is going. And Stahlbrecher, sensing and realizing that he is the one that is losing here, is already doing the rotation and trying to push up north to Alpha. The problem with conquering Alpha is that Alpha is way easier to capture back than X-Ray. The X-Ray is the more important prize, because it is way more difficult to push in the late game.
Hot 2 getting involved here. T-72's having to disengage. But yeah, Stahl getting control over the north, getting a +2, currently a Voltigeers with coming around there as well. BMP1 for Pro Commie rotating to the middle. Infantry still pushing forward. That's the ZSU gets pushed up there as well. Gazelle Hot out of missiles already, but the Hot 2 pretty solid AT helicopter. As some supply needs to be brought up. TRM 2000 coming in, another Mephisto coming in. Milan 2 getting to the north, and another tank coming up for Pro Commie. This time around though, a T-55 AS. That's the mine clearing tank, and that is the perfect siege weapon for the northern area. So I like that investment quite a bit as well.
Yeah, right now we're seeing the French deployment speed advantage is massive. Mephistos, P4s, VABs, even the VAB T20s, all of them are 100 kph, so the French can recover from this situation way faster. Most of the stuff that is coming from Pro Commie is 75 kph. It's armored vehicles, and it is tanks and coups. So even though Pro Commie only kind of has the momentum here due to the fact that he's the only one with tanks in the middle right now, and with the mechanized recon pushing front and giving the tanks something to shoot at, the Wilks can basically can perform map control by being right there in the middle. Now, if the poor Stahlbrecher doesn't really have any place to go from the north, and the further Stahl tries to push forward, more that will allow the Wilks and the tanks to punish that for the overextension. So right now I think we're going to see a 5e start turtling, And if Pro Comi is smart and capable and always makes good decisions and uses a lot of artillery, Pro Comi will likely not stop but keep on the pressure, knowing that the enemy wants to be in this defensive concave formation that we can see already on the board here. It is a
Wilk
very,
doing a
very
good
wide
job,
front.
but so does the AMX-10 RC from the north, getting a decent amount of damage in. ZSU-23 coming around here,
Oh,
pushing slowly forward. Ooh, could get the Gazelle hot there, but the smoke of Pro Comi's own mortar there, stopping it from getting more shots out. And the Gazelle hot, second one surviving barely as well. But the ZSU at least in a decent zoning position there, whilst Stahl getting more damage done in the north, but the MiG-21 bombers start to get annoying here. Getting a kill there. AMX-10RC subplaned going down to the second MiG-21, and currently no Rolands on the map to stop that. Only a couple of Mistrals, and they are not having the range to really intercept those fast and quickly diving MiG-21s before they can get out again. Mi-24D, good investment as well, and that counter push of Brokomi in the north already might be strong enough to break this position.
yeah, the T-72 engaging the AMX-10 in just a second here. I think it's taking out Malutka before it goes there. That will allow the forest that the AMX-10 is currently to be occupied by fire support, and if that happens, that means that those buildings on Alpha Point won't be a place where realistically infantry can fortify. So right now there are Gazelles that are pushing here. They could be able to take a side shot against a T-72, or if the AMX-10 gets a really good shot right at the start. And actually it does, the AMX-10 is still unhurt.
Yeah, T-72 are pretty unfortunate with that short range. Mi-24D goes down to the TRM-2000. The T-55AS goes down as well. Oh boy, Pro-Comi with some unfortunate engagements there in a row, as that T-55AS was pretty important for keeping up the siege in the north. And now it's down. T-72 has to be repaired. The Wilk is coming around now, but Stahlbrecher survives the engagement in the north, is still 300 points ahead, and Pro-Comi still needs to get in there. Subplaned still around, and the AMX is now coming for blood in the middle, and there's no ATGM position in the middle yet. It's only these BMP-1s, and they are in the wrong spot at the wrong time as well. Wilk gets hit by the Subplaned and gets damaged pretty badly. The MX-10 survives the MiG-21 barely, and the Wilk goes down. Oh no, some really, really terrible engagements in a row here right now for Pro-Comi, and Stahlbrecher actually in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, defensive smoke is fired by Pro Comi against Stahlbrecher, who has now built up enough of a mechanized force. The Pro Comi's forces on the defense here are all infantry, and the only T-72 that is out here is in dire condition. So right now is the space and is the moment for 5E to go out there and start getting some free infantry kills and reinforcements. Now the Roland 3s are finally in here. The MiG-21s, in my opinion, have been allowed to hang around here because Stahl really was really realized that he needs to take an infantry advantage up north and start investing into that push. So the MiG-21s would have required a minute's investment of Roland 3s, and that only that I mean we are now 10 minutes in, but only after like 9 minutes was where the funds found for them. But now I think it's pretty expected that those MiG 21s are not going to be as relevant.
Yeah, we saw 2 MX-10s go down at least, so Pro-Comi getting a bit of a recuperation here in the last couple of minutes. The ATGMs coming now in with a Fagot and the BMP-1. T-72's number is rising a bit again. We see the second Wilk, 3 T-72s currently rolling in from the rear. So the situation is somewhat stabilizing for Pro-Comi, but a stabilizing front line is not a terrible situation for Stahl because he has the good artillery potentially as well. But same goes actually for 20th Panzerner. Both basically have the same artillery piece, as one has the Dana, one has the AMX AV1, and in gun performance, they are the same. They're just slightly different in one having a bit more survivability, one having more speed on the road. So, yeah, good options there for both sides if they want to make it a bit of a grindier game here.
Yeah, this front line is so wide that I really don't know. I think there is only one reasonable tank attack path from here that Pro Comi can realistically take, and that is attacking the area where you have the VAB in that forest, trying to push that way straight to the west, and because I think in those ranges, those are short enough ranges that the T-72s can do damage without the hot missiles immediately taking them out. And those are also ranges that are just far enough that the AMX-30s will not do massive damage for them. And but if the Wilks and the rest of the T-72s keep on trying to engage at the widest possible angle, which is the north side of X-ray, the middle road, I think that will allow them to be traded away by this massive concave of amazing French AT weapons.
Yeah, and we
With
just
great
saw the
help as
first
well.
MiG-21 going down, the Roland 3 investment starting to pay off. T-72s pushing in the north, but lacking AA weapons, and the Gazelle Hots here just rotating around constantly around that, and that's a problem. MiG-21 number 2 is in trouble now with the Rolands, but it does survive for now. Will be around later again. BMP2s and BMP1s with Pichotta Mech coming in, whilst the Vilk number 2 gets another Mephisto, doing exactly what it needs to do. As on the other side, currently Voltigius and AMXs slowly rolling forward again to try to get a capture, but pushing through the Vilk here will be troublesome. 2-star veterancy, good accuracy here for sure, and good aim time. Gets stunned down actually by the Brennis, but the Brennis needs to immediately smoke off and get away afterwards, as the Vilk T-72 push is starting to roll forward now.
The Surblinde is getting close in here, trying to maybe get a side shot, but the Wilk's front armor is almost towards... Oh, the Surblinde is taken out by the second T-72.
Ooh, MiG-21 gets the kill onto a BMP-1, not on the Vilk though. The Jaguar here, I mean, Jaguar being pushed out by the Coops, but barely alive. And yeah, the AMX-10 going down, T-72s pushing forward. 3 T-72s supporting now the Vilk here. The numbers have been increased massively, and the AMX-10s need to run away really quickly now to get out of this fight that they just can't win with the T-72 having way better stats in comparison. 17-19 versus 19-10. So yeah, the difference in frontal armor is just too big there.
Yeah, the T-72s are still cursed with their slow autoloader, the 8 rounds per minute. It really does actually seem to matter, especially when it comes to doing cohesion damage. The Wilk here has functioned really well as kind of a long-range sniper unit, because when you give it veterancy, it will achieve at like 70% accuracy at max range, which is that's like Abrams accuracy already. So with everything of the French being so lightly armored, the Wilk has been the right choice to hold this, I think. Now the T-72 M1s will in practice have a massive hit on their accuracy, making it even more likely that they that they get stunned down.
Yeah, we see now the first artillery piece coming in, immediately aiming to get some damage done here. Vilk being the second target, M1 being the first, getting hit pretty badly, and the Milan might get finishing blow here. Oh, does miss. Has one more shot in it. The M1 already smoked off, and the other units around it don't have smoke, so the M1 still might go down. Trying to disengage now. Vilk has to move around as the Milan is coming in, and it finds the T-72 this time around. Brenner's on the other side smoking off better, and Staber here gets to a +4 here with a P4 getting into the center zone. And Now Procomi has to get back in there, and Stahl pushing further ahead in points. Really key factor here right now.
Yeah, Stahlbrecher here pulling back to the defensive line here, pulling back behind the hot twos, allowing the Polish vehicles to just attrition themselves. But we can see that the front line is and the concave is just very well built here. And I think despite those victories, I don't think Pro Comi is really gaining that much map control here. The important thing is that Comi gained the X-ray point. The middle point is now secure, and there are vehicles in position to defend it from more French attacks, and that is a huge victory. But still, I don't. I think French hold the control and hold this same very good positions, and Stahl is already leading with 700 points. I still kind of would argue that instead of doing that attack a couple of kilometers north would have been better, because they could have engaged the concave at its weakest position, basically, and then also gained some ground and maybe allowed for better trades. But you know, it's Pro Comi. Pro Comi is still most likely going to win this because it's Pro Comi. Who the hell am I to criticize him?
Yeah, we have Procomi now getting the capture on here and stopping the tick. 735 points is pretty capable, quite a bit though. What Stahl currently lacks a bit is recon, as the AMX-10s have been mostly taken out, and there is not enough recon infantry here right now to really get the spotting on. Outside of that, I think both sides still have capable forces. Stahl obviously playing a bit lower on the infantry numbers because he has enough autocannons on all the AMXs and so on, that infantry is only important to slow down the speed of the enemy a bit, and then your AMXs can deal with it. MiG-21 coming in again, gets shot down this time around, but gets the Mephisto, so at least still a decent trade with the last hurrah.
Yeah, the Stahlbrecher's build-up seems to be about concentrating into the middle. I think Stahl still holds that he can capture back X-ray. I think that might be true, but only if the concave formation, currently represented by the AMX-30B2 in the middle, if that one can attack southeast, supported by other units, maybe even AMX-10 Surblinders if there are some left, that could maybe close down the reinforcement gap for a moment, allowing the French infantry to get into the zone. I'm not sure if that is I'm not sure if that's going to be the path of least resistance for Stahl. But if Stahl thinks he can win this, maybe he can win this.
Yeah, Grenadier Voltigeurs pushing forward, AMX-10s coming in, VAB-20 coming in for the south, AMX AV-1 pushing a bit closer, Pro-Comi with the classic, the Dana basically on the front line, starting to get some artillery fire out here, going for a roll on 3 next. Without a guided shot though, the Dana not the most accurate piece, as it only has a max range of 17 kilometers, and that means that it is pretty inaccurate on the higher ranges. Getting a bit of a spread, so the roll on 3 has a chance of disengaging here. Has to move quickly though, is starting to move now. Whilst AMX L1, AMX 30B2 disengaging there as well after being routed. Roll on 3 does survive, but at the same time we have the Pro-Comi push in the north now. And there is not a lot for Stahl here right now to hold that T-72 push from going through. So Stahl maybe might be forced to push at the same time in the center, where Pro-Comi smoke might be even helpful for him.
Yeah, Pro-Comi's recon commandos managed to go out there and sneak themselves close enough to kill the AMX-10. And after that thing was done, the T-72 firepower did the rest. Stahl's defense was really well designed. There was an AA gun that was positioned so that immediately as Pro-Comi's units got in, the AA gun
Oh, Stahl trying to push through the smoke, but it gets done down by the sheer amount of Malyut gas just flying into his face. and losing quite a lot of forces there. Roland 3 going down in the north. Stahl was on a good trade in the list there a couple of seconds ago when he shut down a lot of BMP-1s in the north. The Hot 2 Gazelles helping out, getting a couple of decent kills in the center as well, but the just sheer amount of cheap spam that 20th Panzerner is throwing at the armor of the 5th Blindé, which is just not heavy enough to take all those cheap ATGMs, is problematic right now for Stahlbrecher. Stahl for now still is 700 points ahead, but Pro Commie most likely about to get to a +2, which absolutely would be enough to swing the game with getting a capture in the north in the near future, though maybe not, as Stahl is getting some commandos in there, and the MX-30 Brenners in the north gets some decent damage against infantry as well.
Yeah, the mechanized push that I was advocating for came in form of those two T-72s and did a really nice damage. And at the same time, Stahl attacking kind of the strongest position through that smoke was completely countered. And just the way that Pro Commie has been using smoke here to create these situations has been just exemplar. And I think Stahl is kind of realizing that attacking the middle is not the vibe right now. And units are getting probably rerouted to
yeah, but at the same time, Stahl has gotten through in the south, and that is a massive headache for Pro Commie.
What?
As Pro Commie only had one recon unit in there, and Stahl, realizing that Pro Commie might have maybe forgotten a bit about the south, pushed with one Panzer Grenadier, followed it up with an AMX-10, followed it up with a VB that just snagged the Mi-24D, and that whole situation could become a massive headache for Pro Commie in the long run, as Stahlbrecher is about to push into that rear zone, and then he could even maybe lose one of the zones in the north without the take changing, and Pro Commie needing to invest in proportional amount of forces here to get Lima back, that he much rather would like to have pushing through the north right now. So fantastic move here by Stahlbrecher, really making Pro Commie consider how to split his forces, and it will be tough to find the right balance here at this stage.
Yeah, the Polish counterattack is in form of those two BMP-2s, which are quite rare, but the Poles do have them. Their firepower should be enough to fight everything here except the AMX-30, and the AMX-10 is likely going to get a first shot, even if the BWR radar recon spots it. These zero-vet units, I think, trading shots on long ranges will lose against the French, even if the second AMX-30 wasn't coming in here as reinforcement.
Yeah, and we see the Apilas also securing the northern part, killing off a BMP-1. T-72M1 falling in the north, so the AMXs together with the P4 Milans still holding a line pretty decently there as well. The Gazelle Hots are doing a fantastic game here. Really well used ATGM helicopters here. Getting a bit close maybe now, but still keeping up the fire. The AA here of Pro Commie close to the ground, not good enough. And MiG-21 AAs here actually not hunting them down either. That's a weird choice. Pro Commie just trying to keep the planes out, I guess. But the MX-30 B2 gets the capture off to the rear zone, at least the neutralization of the rear zone, not quite the capture. Has to be careful against the BMP-2s, but they are pretty stunned down as well, so their accuracy with the Conquerors is pretty abysmal, as the MX-10 RC and the MX-30 B2 keep on the damage here. MiG-21 bomber coming in for the AMX-30, will get the kill there most likely, yes. Stops the capture from completely going through, but Stahl on a +1, coming in with AMX-30s in the north to stabilize the front line there, and Pro Commie still with a bit of headache.
Yeah, Stahl did a minor mistake by not having the AMX-10 RC engage at the right time. This allowed, and I believe it actually missed, the BMP-2s. One of them managed to get a Conquerors missile on the AMX-30 leader, which forced it to retreat.
The BWR, the BMR winning against the MX-10 there, that is really unfortunate. What? That's usually not how that fight goes, but it got a hit against the MX. The MX got super stressed out, and it will now most likely go down eventually to something here, shooting at it, though everything is so stressed out in the south that nothing is actually hitting anything. And the MX-30 actually not getting any kills either. VAB now getting involved with its autocannon. This AT plane finally getting a kill against the MX-30. Stahlberg has to be careful to not lose Oscar to the counter push. But yeah, currently still keeps up the pressure there. Whilst in the meantime, Pro Commie actually pushing deep in the center though. Getting even the Puma Kangaroo captured. Could put that into money by letting it fly back. And yeah, Stahl completely giving up on X-Ray basically. Just focused on holding Alpha for long enough. Only 30 minutes remaining at this stage. Currently Stahl still slightly ticking up. 800 points. It's not massive, but it's an advantage for sure. And he still holds out in the northern section here.
Yeah, it is only 13 minutes left. This game has been quite intense for the last 27 minutes. The Pro Commie's units, like the Zero Vet units, can immediately put low cohesion, but still managing that engagement largely by Pro Commie's excellent air usage, managing to win those engagements. And I think Stahl kind of like relinquished the middle there because there was just too much fire support coming, too much firepower coming from Pro Commie. Now the Stahl has managed to get a bunch of infantry up north here, as well as kind of reasonable defense in depth with the AMX-10s and some more infantry, which generally means that Pro Commie's units would be trading badly. There's a single T-72 here doing the damage, which means that this is going to slowly work, but it is only 12.5 minutes left. Is this kind of slow push grinding through with a single tank really the way to go right now? Your enemy still has units they're buying,
Yeah, and Pro Commie just forced to invest 3 more CVs with another recon unit into the south, so that's another part that doesn't go into breaking the whole northern section. Pro Commie still moving there, still getting some decent kills there. MX-30 is going down, gets the commando killed as well, so the forest special forces that hold the line there for Stahlbrecher being reduced as well. But for now, Stahl is still annoying in the north and is about to reach the 900 point mark. So Pro Commie will need more points somewhat soon, whilst we have an AMX-30 B2 PC still coming around in the south together with the AMX-10 RC to try to at least fully capture Lima. Pro Commie finally bringing a CV around there once more, but the CV of Pro Commie in the north also now moving in, so this is starting to look a bit grim for Stahl, but Stahl just needs to play for time here. Though it's easier said than done against a beast like Pro Commie.
Yeah, Pro Commie is just massing units down south and managing to push through the defenses Stahl have managed to get there now. Stahl likely will keep on and try to micro and push Lima, because that is the only attack, only place where Stahl still has some level of tempo. And in the middle here, I think it's going to be 10-minute survival of defense in depth after defense in depth. Just trade up, try to micro your units to get the best possible engagements, constantly keep attention. The French units are fast, so that's something that you can do with them. They reward micro quite a lot and have so many multitudes.
Jaguar AT trying to come around. Mi-24 DAT goes down, so the AMX-30s can move a bit around easier. And the Pro Commie on a +1 now. That's nice for Pro Commie. Pichota Mac in the middle and Malyutka's pushing forward there as well. Pro Commie obviously wants more than that. Wants to get a good bit further. +1 is only plus 40 points per minute. That's not enough to capture up to the 920 points of Stahlbrecher. But Pro Commie still has a lot of forces on the battlefield. Could push through in the south. Stahl needs to get some important kills here. Maybe snipe a CV or so to slow down Pro Commie enough here to stop him from pushing through. MX-30 Brandis gets the T-72 in the north. The BMP-1 in the south goes down before it can recapture. AMX there with a crazy snipe. So that's really important. Stahl keeps Pro Commie from capturing the south. That was maybe the most important kill in the game here right now.
Yeah, that is exactly what I say of trying to just micro your way out of this. The AMX-10 having the very good optics and such good speed and aim time and accuracy means that it can perform in that kind of a situation where it's reliably only facing BMP-1s, which have horrible accuracy and range. Now, the way to go here, like Pro Commie needs 3 starting like a minute ago, and Stahl does have an extra leader here in case Pro Commie actually pushes this. But I think this game is going to turn into like one mono engagement up north. Meanwhile, though, Stahl seems to be positioning the tank to drive into, yeah, straight up just driving into the middle zone, trying to kind of betting that there is no extra commander out here. The T-72 will be able to sideshot the AMX-30 if it gets in, but it could have bad luck, or Stahl might actually smoke this.
Stahl gets
Oh,
the
really? Stahl
HGM
had
killed
5
off there, so
smokes
at least
there.
the Fagot won't stun him down. But the MX-30 now going by it, and the Wilk has a side shot there. Wilk doesn't get the kill. MX not continuing to fast move, smokes off now. That's what it maybe needed. Wilk gets the kill though. MX-30 needs to get the hell out of there. It can't get through. It would get killed beforehand. So yeah, needs to get out there. Maybe wait for smoke. The MX-1 out of ammo though. So that's not gonna happen. Pro Commie moves the CV into the south. About to get a +2 there. Whilst we see a good amount of Grenadier Voltigeurs coming around there. Subpersi versus Commandos working out for Pro Commie. Needs to put the CV up there somewhat soon as well, but Stahlbrecher is still reinforcing into that at least. Loses the CV in the center, loses the CV in the south, and Pro Commie could even push forward to Oscar. So Stahl in a really vulnerable position. For now, still on track, at least for a draw, but maybe even more here.
Yeah, the Pro Commies basically has time for a one big attack, and that attack needs to go fully through at some point to actually win this. Stahl, looking at Stahl's reinforcements, there are still AMX-30s coming in, so every second is making the core of Stahl's close-range defense, the mech, even more powerful. And the mech in these close ranges, AMX-30s are going to, of course, not perform versus T-72s, but if you have them en masse and you micro them, you might be able to pick out a couple of overpowered kills by driving them kind of like strike up kills against these heavy MBTs, because you can aim faster with your veterancy, you can move faster with your speed, and the kinetic damage means that you're still going to penetrate.
We see
that is easier to do with mass tanks, of course.
AMX-30 still trying to hold the line in the north, but the +2, it's enough for Stahl to at least get a draw here. Maybe even still a slight win. We have only 80 points per minute here ticked for Pro Commie, and only 6 minutes remaining. But Pro Commie is so close with CV in the north, still has potential for CV into Oscar. Just needs to get eventually moving, and yeah, Stahl is all about trying to get the snipe with the BMP2, with the Grenadier Voltige or anything onto the CVs here now. The T-72 Wilk moving up north as well. The MX-30s still around there. They will struggle against that, but time is of the essence. AT planes coming in now as well, so yeah, the situation is not developing great for the ground forces of Stahl, but the lead is potentially still enough here.
Yeah, the AMX-30s, the autocannons are locked into the tank's fire control, I believe, which is the excuse for the autocannons being super accurate. They can reliably, you can fire a burst against an infantry team, as we just saw though with the Subpersi, and they're basically already like stunned down. It is so powerful. But the weakness of the AMX-30 is that the further away it is from the T-72s, more likely it is that it's just going to get popped up with a can opener.
Yeah, and we see T-72s now pushing forward. AT plane at least got shut down by the fighter of Stahlbrecher, but one AMX-30 now going down. BMP-1 has to disengage though again, and it's only 4 minutes 25 seconds now. So the chances of a draw become more likely and likely for Stahl. Maybe even still a win. Though that will be tough as the push still continues. More and more AMX30. The printer is real as ProComi is setting up a smoke field here for the CV to push into. There is a P4 PC on the other side here for Stahl still, so Stahl still can do some potential shenanigans here, but it won't be easy as the +2
So the
keeps on ticking.
artillery.
CV of ProComi about to move in there. That will get him to a +4, 1 at 60 points per minute. But time is of the essence. It's ticking down slowly. And only 3.5 minutes here. As we are
The
on a
French
+3.
artillery is out of ammo. It could be firing there right now, but it was out of ammo. Damn.
AMX30 engaging still as well. P4 PC coming around to stop the tick for as long as possible, or at least reduce it. Coming in here now. Might get under fire pretty quickly here. Sapersi Storm getting involved, but it does reduce the points just ever so slightly here that ProComis gets. No +4 here for a couple more seconds, and that might just be enough. Only 3 minutes at this stage, so time is running out for ProComi. ProComi needs more points, doesn't push for it in the south, so wants to get more points up north. MX30 under fire, and now the zone is going to get captured. But that's only 160 points per minute. With 2.5 minutes, it's going to be close. But I don't quite think it's enough for ProComi to full out win this game. I think it's moving towards a draw.
Yeah, I agree. This was just a slightly too. It took slightly too long. There was so many things I wanted to scream about while casting that, but they're already in the past. Right now we're talking 2 minutes 81. No, it's not enough for a 100-point lead, I don't think. So at this point, Stahl should just turtle everybody. Just don't even engage. Just pull back. Just waste time.
Yeah, the +4 does continue. AMX30 coming up, and if this is a draw, the second game of this series will be even more important because it will decide who wins the match. So really, really key factor here that what is going on here. There is maybe still a slight chance if ProComi somehow can get his tank into the rear, but it's only 1 minute 34. So even if he starts moving now, that most likely won't happen. And no movement in the south either. ProComi has given up on capturing more, but the +4 just came in a couple seconds too late here. Like 30-40 seconds too late. And with only 1 minute remaining now, 160 points. You need more than 100 points difference between those two, so ProComi would need 1,021 points, and I don't think he will get there.
Yeah, no, I agree. This has been an amazing game, just like so intense on all sides, and you can when you're looking at these decisions that these players are making, it really, like, I can feel the motivations. I can feel like the logic that they are going through, what they are what they're trying to achieve, and I think that is must be kind of a not tiring, but must be a skill that can be that maybe you can over time you can lose your capacity to play that kind of very intense game where everything you do has like a meaning or a plan or something, and kind of get yourself lulled into boredom and start microing worse. But I think that is a skill that both of these players have. At no point has Stahlbrecher played like they didn't know what it was like trying to do constantly.
Yeah, and here we
Here
go.
we see a closer engagement finally.
We get
But
a
oh no,
draw
the
in the end.
MX30.
It was really close. And yeah, it only needed a couple more seconds, 10-15 seconds here for ProComi to get the W. But ProComi didn't quite get there. And that leads to a 9,800 to 6,900 point draw. ProComi gets the clash of Stahlbrecher's forces in the end, and it once more shows 5th Blinde is absolutely beatable when you have the units to beat it, but it's needs a specific set of forces to be able to beat the division. But Brokomi didn't beat the player, and that's the important part here, meaning that the next game is even more important. Stahl needs to win to move on to the playoffs, and Brokomi basically needs it as well at this stage. So, super key game number 2 here between these two. And we're gonna go in there after a really quick break, so don't you run away.
Yeah. On Friday.
And here we go, the final game of the day. And if you want to support these players, you can do so via the lovely Matcherino. And I saw a couple of you did again. So thanks to you guys. And all of you can do that for free by clicking the claim code button on the Matcherino page. And you can get there quickly. Down in the description on YouTube, in the chat, in Twitch right now. Just click the link to the Matcherino. Click the claim code button at 25 cents. Completely for free. If you want to support it even further, that would be much appreciated as well. And yeah, thanks to all of you for helping out. Thanks to all of you for watching, keeping me motivated, keeping Chloride motivated. Don't forget to go over to Chloride's channel as well and leave some love over there.
Thank you.
He is covering a lot of WARNO over there too, and talking about politics, society in general, a bit of philosophy, all of that good stuff. And yeah, what we have here in front of us is great stuff as well.
We have a goddamn hype game. I am so into this, especially as the last game was a draw. The fact that we're getting a 5th Panzer versus 9th Panzer showdown between Stahlbrecher and Brokomi on Kreide, the best new map, and the map that we haven't yet seen this level of top division matchups yet. I believe this game might be one that will advance WARNO community's understanding of the map, because both of these players seem to be doing kind of aggressive mech tactics on Armored Division, but with completely different tools and strategies. We're seeing the traditional vetted up Leopard 1A, 1A1 blob coming and attacking the Bravo zone. Bravo is the one that everybody needs to try to get in the early game, because if you lose it, it's very, very difficult to get out of. And you need Bravo if you want to fight Charlie, and Charlie is also like an important big zone. You can reach Charlie from places outside of Bravo, but it's way without controlling Bravo. But it's still really difficult. So all in kind of style tactics going that way. And Brokomi is not doing as many orders here, but from what it seems like, this is a very Kreide typical recon vehicle and recon infantry opener to basically get the grids locked in, control the what do you call those things? Control the routes, control the crossroads, and that way you can start building up your own armored force for methodically moving from one tree line to the other. But meanwhile, the main force, including a T-72S, a smoke mortar once again, and some vetted up infantry, seem to be going into Charlie. That is very interesting to me, because Stahlbrecher is not invested in contesting Charlie, just keeping the enemy out. So maybe this opener from Brokomi might actually get an early breakthrough or get completely ambushed while Leopard 1A, 1A1s go and cut out the reinforcement route. A lot of stuff could happen here very soon, Protoss. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's a really cool matchup, just canonically as well, as it's Northern Germany between two divisions that are somewhat equal as well. East Germany versus West Germany, their heaviest tank divisions out here. Leo 2s, Leo 1s versus a lot of T-72s, and it's going to be interesting to see what the helicopters can do here. The 3 Me-2 Yearns, they have potential of annoying Stahlbrecher a good amount, killing off a recon unit here and there, making him pay a bit extra for getting vision on the map later on, as those fan spears, they're really valuable units. 80 point, they have an AT weapon, they have the GSR trait especially, so losing those would be pretty painful. Me2 Urn doesn't go for the full-on scout in the south though. All now
Yeah,
pushing into the center instead. One pushing through the north. And yeah, the blob of Pro Commie is moving into the center here, whilst Stahlbrecher stuff is moving into the south.
no, but I think the MI2 Earn, if they could have spotted the blob earlier, maybe this could give extra info for Pro Commie about how to counter this, of course. And I think the moment when Pro Commie realizes the blob, I think that will have him push whatever push he's doing even further, because this blob is a show of weakness on all the other fronts. So as this information here, I'm not sure if no, I don't think Star has still yet shown this blob, but we'll see. I think Pro Commie might do like a really quick. I think it will be typical for him to choose like a air spam counter to immediately, because there's only a single Gepard, two Gepards out there.
Yeah,
Just
Stahl
like try
getting
to
demolished here, losing a lot of Milan units, losing a Jaguar. Gepard at least killed all the Me2 Urns, but losing even the Iltis CV in the north to the BMP Recon. So this is pretty painful here for Stahl. Gepard most likely going down on the ATGM fire here as well, but the Leo 1 wave is now pushing in from the south. So the battle is going to happen here now with the Leo 1 blob, but the central forces here got annihilated. Pretty rough start here for Stahl, but Stahl still has the positional advantage of Bravo and has taken hold of Golf. Just needs to hold Bro Commie at bay in the center, and that is going to be tough. Modschützen here pushing forward now will get a Leo 1 most likely killed off already. So one Leo 1 goes down, BO 105 pushing into the buffed Chilka. Chilka is now with more range, getting the kill there as well. And this is really, really problematic here for Stahl right now. Struggling
I think
to keep the damage up.
Yeah, like Stahl was forced to deploy and start the fight inside that forest. That's such a bad position that Motorschützen can completely keep them away from the town. And if the tanks go and engage, they're gonna engage at the max range of the T-72S. So if the Panzergrenadier just managed to deploy in the middle of the town, those positions would be so much better, because the tanks could hide and peek from behind the buildings. And right now, Pro Commie is, for a moment, still in a position to fortify this, and I think these Fagots will deploy into the zone, and this blob will get tied down. It is not going to trade well in these engagements at this rate.
Yeah, Malyukta P and T-72 trying to help out as well. Me2 Urn number 4 goes down in the south to another Gepard before it can get the Fernspeer killed, and there are a couple units killed off Pro Commie, but Pro Commie gets the reinforcements in here into the center. Storm moving around as well. Pro Commie moving units into the northern parts as well, trying to set up a bit of a push into that part of the map, at least stopping Stahlbrecher from getting ambush positions onto the road too easily, whilst Stahl is trying to get some Jaguars around for some kills in the center. But with the Storm being around, with the T-72S being around, that is pretty scary, even for the 6 frontal armor Jaguar. So, yeah, Stahl, I'm not sure if Stahl can get into the center anytime soon quickly. I like this Pro Commie's smoke here. It's always setting up interesting line of sights. I would never put that smoke there, but I kind of find it interesting what he's trying to do with it.
I think it's just trying to allow for the safe repair, the fast repair of the T-72S. I think that's the purpose. The north of Charlie, there's the Moto Aufklärer and Moto Aufklärer BMP-1. The south of the Lux, I think that is a position that Stahl could pretty easily conquer the crossroads. That would allow them and give them visibility over the T-72 and its munitions right now. And if that doesn't get pushed by Stahl, I think that's going to be a lost of potential. It could open up the front and force Pro Comi to pull back even further, thus giving the blob a chance to move around into a better position.
Yeah, and Pro-Kami is trying to kill the Fanspeer. The Fanspeer, one of the massive advantages of 5th Panzer over 9th, as 9th doesn't have any GSR units. So it doesn't get
Doesn't have DRMs.
these strong recon units. So, but the Fanspeer do survive for now. A lot of extra focus onto those with the Meteorns, with the rockets. Leo 1's here trying to push forward against the Fagot, as the T-72S is number 2 is on the battlefield, and the severe missiles now start flying. Get a good hit against the Leo 1. Storm trying to get it onto it as well. Second Leo 1A1 just gets outright murdered by the Bane gun. And we have a bit of a push from Pro coming into the southern part now as well. Stahlbrecher under pressure, but on a +3 right now.
Yeah, Stahl's still, when Stahl starts getting the heavy tanks...
Oh my goodness!
No, fucking
the bailout! The Leo 2A4C with the lucky hit gets a BMP-1 killed now as well. That T-72 needs to get the smoke immediately so that the supply truck can save it. You can't afford to lose a T-72S in this matchup. You need to get it saved. Whilst we have a missile murdering the F4 FAA in the rear. So
yeah,
this
the mortar
is
already smoking. Motorschützen have managed to technically land themselves into the Bravo zone, but I still don't think Procom is getting there for the moment.
Yeah, there's still a bit more extra behind that. Stahlbrecher investing into another Panzer, another Jäger in there as well. So Procomi would need to invest more into it, but wants to win the center instead right now. Gets the smoke around the T-72S, so the bailout tank will get saved here. That's the second T-72S is still around, murdering the Fanspeer. The Fanspeer got removed. That's another important kill. Whilst the T-72S is repaired, so is back into action in the center as well. And a lot of units going down here again. Leo 1A5 gets murdered by the Modschützen in the north. Those actually really pretty efficient as well. There's nothing stopping anything. Procomi will get golf.
Yeah, the 1A5 buy was really weird. Like, why that? Just send a martyr, and that's an extra infantry unit for the forest zone as well. But yeah, like Stahl has only a single Leopard 2A4 right now on the board, and that is not enough. There needs to be more long-range firepower, more tanks here. The defenses and the Jaguars are really nice on defense, and technically Stahl is still leading this, but it's only a matter of time, and Stahl really wants to gain new positions, just like going through, get 2 squads of infantry, 1 Jaeger Aufklärer, 1 Jaeger, and just go like to the and push these forests somewhere on the map. The Motto Aufklärers are one of the reasons why Procomi can keep this form up against the Jaguars.
And T-72S here is around, getting some fire out as well. T-72S getting to fire over here as well. Getting some shots out. Panzer Grenadier is going down.
Hell yeah.
Missile flying from the Marder. Jaguar under fire. Not getting the kill there. Malyutka P moving around. And yeah, it's still not great trades from Stahlbrecher. Jaguars in trouble.
Ooh, BMP2.
Getting a good kill onto a BMP2, but Marder's going down at the same time. M109 getting involved. Firing onto the T-72S. Well, it's
Elite tank shrugging off the direct hits. Okay, now it gets stunned.
Well, it's Su-22 AT coming in the north. Trying to get a kill onto the Roland 3. Gets a shot. Misses the first missile. Gets the Roland 3 with the second one though. AA setup not going up here for Stahl. Whilst we see Jaegers still sitting in the south. T-72S getting involved in the center. Modschützen Aufklärer pushing through this Delta zone now as well. At the same time, it looks though, can it get the BMP-1? No, it can't. Looks gets killed by BMP-1. Yeah, Lux autocannon not the most amazing. Jäger Panzerfaust pushing forward. And
Yeah, the Pro
BMP-1K for
Comi
Prokomi gets the capture. Yeah, it seems troublesome for Stahlbrecher at this point.
Did so excellently with the 2,800-meter missiles, the Sturm and the T-72S. The Motto-Aufklärer and those managed to get all of these engagements, just completely disabling the fifth. Like, this is the only thing to counter that really would be to try to push closer with more Leopard 2s, which could destroy the T-72S and the Sturm. But on these max range engagements, with Procomi having such good recon, on 2 counts actually. There's a Motto of Clara, second one in the zone. Like, this was this is the hard target right now. Like, Stahl should move and attack, engage some other angle.
Yeah, Stahl getting the pushback in the north, getting to push Prokomi out of there, and most likely getting up to a bit more tech with that. Sturm in the center going down as well, but Stahl having to fall back quite a bit. Leo 2A4C still around. Whilst we see T-72 MEV pushing in here for the southern zone, and the southern zone is in a lot of trouble. BRM-1K getting the kill, T-72 MEV pushing up as well, Malyutka going for the Unimog. Whilst we see an F4FAT coming in here, just got nerfed down to 2 per card instead of 3 per card, but gets a kill there on the MEV. That's an important kill. On the other side though, 2 AT weapons coming in as well. Gepards and Rolands need all the damage they can get to get the kill there. Roland's shot number 2 does miss. So no kill onto these Su-22s yet. The Su-22 coming around again, getting a bit close to the Roland, getting a bit close to the Gepard as well. But the Roland does miss, so no kill onto this one either. But we have Jaguars coming up, Leo 1 leader coming up. I don't think a Jaguar 2 is the unit to push a zone with, so I'm not super confident into this Jaguar movement here right now. Though with the Leos, it actually might work out after all.
Yeah, there's still only a single Leopard 2A4, and it is doing work here, I gotta say. And they'll be, with just a little bit more recon, single infantry unit, they could maybe capture Bravo back. But it really does seem like despite Stahlbrecher being in the lead and still ticking points, Procomi has been using the last like 5 to 10 minutes in just trading really well, slowly trading upwards and building up good engagements even while losing points, knowing that in the end, if you actually win this big tank fight up here in the middle plateau, that you can cut off reinforcements for the enemy and just automatically win the game. That's one of the big win conditions. And Procomi, despite having the side push go up north, never really invests into it. All the attention is right here in the decisive battle.
Yeah, losing an Su-22 though, losing a good couple of units to the Leo 2A4 as well, so Stahl, I don't think traded actually that badly the last 2 to 3 minutes, but before that, there was a time where it was pretty rough. So that for sure wasn't helping. The Motschützen reinforcement of Procom in the north getting ambushed though, so Stahl winning at least around the Gulf area, and Procomi not able to follow up with a CV into Delta yet. So Procomi not catching up in points here with Stahlbrecher at this stage. But with the capture of the southern zone, that might happen, though the Jaegers have something to say about that. And that was something we were missing in the Bloody Night game earlier. There it was all Panzer Grenadiers, and Panzer Grenadiers are good, but they aren't beefy enough. So having some Jaegers here in the 5th Panzer, pretty important addition, and they will start to move forward now. Whilst the Leo 1 gets a decent bit of damage out as well. T-72Ss though, they are super scary.
Yeah, this lower area that the fight is happening in Bravo, this is actually a way better engagement area for Stahlbrecher. The closer ranges, the fact that everybody gets a reliable bit of of forest, and that infantry can be up front. This is
Oh,
all.
Procomi trying to sneak in the CV, but the Jaguar sees it, and the Jaguar gets the kill. No capture for Procomi of the rear zone, losing an important CV again, and important victories here for Stahlbrecher in the north. That keeps the chances of winning this potentially alive, especially if the push into Bravo, the center zone. Procomi really took control of that, and I don't think Stahl will get back there anytime soon, but Stahl is winning the flank fights here right now, and that is so important here.
Yeah, this suddenly, as the engagements start happening here on the lower ground, it starts getting some better trades. The elite T-72s perform really well there. They do have 50 cows, so they can suppress and do damage to the enemy infantry, and there are enough of them that you need some amount of mass to actually charge engaging the group, so to speak. Now, the singular Leopard 2 going in there and getting attacked by so many enemies at the same time, it is routed, and it's gonna hopefully survive here, but there just isn't enough.
The F4F with the important kill onto the T-72S. Taking out a really key factor here. Roland 3s on the other side, trying to get some kills, but the Leo 1A5 leader went down beforehand. At least one Su-22 less here as well, but it gets the Leo 2A4C. Oh no, turret flies off as this one gets sniped, and that was such a key unit here. Ooh, the Su-22s paying off after all here. That kill was key, and that allows Procomi most likely to get to a tick here soon, as the Jaegers with Panzerfaust still trying to fight here in the south, but they don't really have the damage output as they are super stunned out, and Panzerfaust struggling to kill off the BMP2s, so the autocannons just shred through them. And now it's hard to say what to do here for Stahl, as the Leo 2, it was so important.
The Stahl is not going to be attacking at the populated parts of the map for like the next 7 minutes at least, but there are enough units and enough map control for Stahl, as well as a leader and an anti-air vehicle, that it could get into Foxtrot. Now we're gonna see if yes, it takes it out. The Moto Aufklärer doesn't have any AT weapons left, and once Stahl realizes this, it is a free reign into Foxtrot. Procomi has already bought reinforcements, so the Leopard 1 should hurry. But if they get into Foxtrot, that's not the best ground for the T-72. Infantry can just stun it off.
Well, you got the storm moving around here towards Charlie. Meanwhile, Jäger Aufklärer getting pushed out by BMP2s and Motschützen in the south. Procomi hasn't pushed in the BMP1 there yet, though, to get his take. Needs to push that up there. T-72 MEVs pushing up in the north. Iltis Führungs gets sniped in the south. Motschützen push in really deep there. Potential push to Alpha here. Leo 2A4C being bought. Second one already on the battlefield already. Motschützen under fire. So Stahl gets the forces out to get some armor into fights again. But might not have the recon for it this time around, as the Jäger Aufklärer goes down in the south right now, and there is a good couple of T-72s already. So it's not going to be easy. The Su-22 in the north, running into Gepards, not quite getting the Jaguar killed, but the Leo 1A5 got killed by it beforehand, so the Su-22 still doing its job. Second one coming around for the south, trying to get another Leo 2A4 killed. First missile does miss, second one gets thwarted by the smoke, and the Su-22 takes a lot of damage, but it does survive once more. Painful times for Stahl, meaning that that thing will come around eventually again. Whilst we have some fights with ATGMs in the middle, seemingly going Stahlbrecher's way, but just ever so slightly. Leo 1A1 going down in the south, so it's more about both sides bloodying each other here, just absolutely clubbing it onto each other with all they got, and it's It's a
Yeah,
pretty
it's all
grindy
about
game.
trades.
Kind of looks like a
Absolutely.
Tiberius Rancor game here right now. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, like Stahlbrecher was slow and waited for the looks, which allowed the reinforcement, the tank of coming and stopping them. But Stahl has managed to capture a very strategic location because he can now aim downwards and attack downwards in the middle, which is something that you can use, especially when you have a Leopard 2A3 that is going towards that crossroad right now. Meanwhile, rest of Stahl's forces are doing a quick and hasty tactical retreat. There are two Leopard 2A4s. They are running off from the sphere missiles and trying to uh, get the enemy to get back to their level. Par 1 here will provide a lot of damage. No AA here for the moment for Procomi.
Yeah, we see Motschützen RPG 27 pushing in. F4F8 trying to get a kill, but getting pushed back again.
Oh,
We see the MiG-23 go down. The F4F might barely survive. Yes, it does. We have a BO helicopter actually around. I like that as well. That's a good addition. The BMP-1 here most likely going down. Yes, there we go. And the T-72 MEVs, I don't think they can hold down here too easily. There is still an S, but Procomi only on a +1 right now. But Stahlbrecher might need to find a solution for that, as the +1 keeps on ticking up here.
yeah, I think Procomi's T-72 move in the high plateau there, I think it's going to do a lot of damage. They're going to have recon advantage against the Leopard 2 with their BRM, and there are no a helicopter could maybe go there and do support. I think they may have run out of AT planes at this point, but yeah, at this point, like Stahl just cannot afford any bad engagements. He's always going to give land here, I think, rather than risking units needlessly.
Yeah, the +1 is kicking in. Jägeraufklärer coming in. Stahl still has some potent units, and at least has gotten rid of a decent amount of the enemy air. But the Leo 2s need to work the magic now, as the infantry tab is somewhat depleted, most likely. The T-72 MEV, maybe not quite the right engagement at this stage. Ooh, Gepard coming around, not getting the Mi-24P killed though. It barely survives. Whilst, yeah, Jägeraufklärer against Motschützen. Pretty standard fight here as well. Nothing really pushing in. As it seems like both are so far content with the status quo here, which is 40 points per minute for Procomi.
Yeah, I mean, Stahl really doesn't have any other choice than to get time, just get more of the stuff on board. Fifth is a juggernaut. If you get a fifth Panzer like proper combo up, nice engagements, get some support around the map, enough control in the air that you can use your planes to give you an extra boost after like a breakthrough or something. Like you can do a lot of stuff with fifth, and the reason why Stahl has been playing so defensively was due to, I believe, a very failed investment into Jaguars, where they got completely outplayed by the higher range ATGMs, just like outtech, and that has been a significant part of Stahl's points had been invested there, and the core of the T-72s has very rarely actually gotten under threat.
AO2A3 pushing around in the north now. Got just buffed in the latest patch. Wait, was this? Yeah. No, 230 points, exactly. And AT plane trying to get a kill there, but doesn't quite have the line of sight. Roland 3s. Can they finally find the kill? Yes. Another SU-22 AT goes down. Another important unit that can't threaten the Leo 2A4s. And they are now on the move. 4 Leo 4s in the south without the AT planes. They actually might be a pretty strong force to reckon with. Roland 3s actually just gets murdered by a T-72 MEV. But Milan 2 now getting involved. The Leo's pushing forward. Second Roland goes down. Stahlbrecher there, a bit reckless. With the Martyrs also a bit behind, but the Leo 2A4 sees still a really scary weapon.
Okay, you got three of them, and they're upvetted. All right, now it's time to do it. Okay, so the T-72 moves going behind the going downhill. That is the right choice, I believe. Even though the short engagements here are nice, the leopards firing together and engaging all at once is going to win these engagements for all of these tanks that are in different parts of the line of sight spectrum.
Yeah, and the really important kills, T-72, MEV, BMP-2, like all of that just getting massacred. Getting side shot here though would be enough to swing the balance. One or two side shots and the situation for Leo 2s does integrate quickly. Leo 2A force moving around. Milan 2 coming up. S-22 rocket coming up. S-22 AT getting a bit of damage against Martyrs, but no kills in against the Leos. The Roland 3s would be really helpful though still at this stage. With one of these Su-22 ATs still being around. It's the final one. The other one got shut down, but that one still be annoying. And in the north, not much movement. +1 for Pro Commi does continue. So getting some amount of damage out here and maybe getting back into one zone still would be a nice stabilizer for Stahl here.
Yeah, Alexa, play Panzermensch by that one German band, something. That's the vibe of this game right now. The ultimate German high-vet tank, top-tier tank division face off. So far, the Leopard's increased rate of fire seems
Oh,
to be
Pro
winning.
Commi with the sneak move though. Sneak move
Oh
with
no,
RPG 27. It has 21 pen, side shot and it kills. Leo 2A4 might get hit here. Leo 2A4 is turning, it gets front shotted. Important there. Mudschützen still do a good amount of damage. They might even find a kill here. Oh, they missed with the last shot. Super important for Stahlbrecher, but slows down everything again. Well, it's the
Yeah, once again, just give land before taking a bad engagement. Just immediately escape. That's Stahl is really like playing the form here. The longer range engagements are better, anyways. The 11 rate of fire versus 8 rate of fire is just giving the losing the leader tank there. That's pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, that's
but
pretty annoying.
the rate
Bio
of fire here.
105 coming in again. Stahl still might go for a push in the north. Artillery helped out there, softening it up a bit. Martyrs pushing in as well. And there are still some Jaegers behind the enemy line as well. That could be annoying for Pro Commi. Whilst Pro Commi has a couple of units here just randomly sitting around in the rear as well. As a mobile reinforcement, maybe. But the BO-105s fire away their missiles.
Stahl is breaking through to the crossroads here, but Pro Commi is sending a wave of fighter bombers to charge them. They do not drop their bombs, and a Gepard gets really nice hits on one of the rocket planes and suppressing the AT plane. I don't know if they lost sight there or if there was smoke or something, but yeah, that could have been huge, and now might be huge. Does not get the Gepard and gets Rolanded out. Oh, that was Pro Commi's massive potential in destroying this push here. The one tank in the middle, the hero tank move that countered the
Yeah, we
Stahlbrecher's
see
push.
a push into the north from Pro Commi at the same time, but some Jäger Panzerfaust are annoying, though it seems to work out. Needs a CV up there eventually as well, though. 10 minutes, +1 still going. Jäger Aufklärers pushing forward. Martyr 1A2 coming up as well, Leo 2A3. So everything just shoots up the stuff. BMP1 goes down. S222 not getting through, getting shredded. Important kills for Stahlbrecher here once more. Losing one BO-105 though.
Just look at how where Stahl keeps his tank force right now. Like this is perfect. I love this. The infantry outside here, just using the Leopard's speed to the maximum advantage. Like having the Milan 2s and the Recon keep a tab on the enemy and then moving everything at once, but otherwise sitting like deep in the corner of the wood. Gepard 2 is facing down a tank and some mech up north, but I think this Par 1 will be able to do so much damage that Pro Comi cannot keep up the push here up north, not before getting another fighter, which would involve
Yeah, the
flying under the
Leo
Gepard.
actually pushing into Foxtrot, actually potentially getting Stahl even more points as the CV is coming in there as well. The Mi-24P is a good idea, but the Gepard is somewhat close as
Ooh,
well.
gets
So
a side shot with the BRM.
Leo
Oh, that was
283 going
huge.
down there, really bad, really
Oh, man.
rough. But the CV still might be able to sneak in, even with the MEV and the
Yeah, Milan
Mi-24P.
2 can smoke it, and then
Oh,
Marder can smoke it.
rockets of the Mi-24P getting the kill there as
Oh,
well. Gepard now coming around. Führung trying to come in and getting the capture. Stops the take. That's important. That's really important if you want to win games. Stop the take whilst being ahead. And stop the take of the enemy here. 452 points, 300 points to go. Whilst we see AA pieces here shooting.
ooh, the Iltis gets in, but it gets faced by another tank counterattack. With some very limited infantry forces here to stop this. Pro Comi might be getting. I mean, it's still just like more time and even more points for Stahlbrecher, but Pro Comi might be breaking through this now.
Yeah, Milan 2 engaging against T-72 as Jäger on the fire. The Leo 2A4 is starting to move. +1 for Stahlbrecher. And that's all that Stahl wants right now. Lost the CV up north, but gets further ahead whilst Pro Comi doesn't get any points. That's what Stahlbrecher wants at this stage, to try to get it with a pointed lead. At least force Pro Comi to another draw, but maybe even keeping Pro Comi away this time. As there is a lot of forces on this battlefield, but none that finally can push through.
Yeah, Stahl is now doing a push here on the close range forest area of the middle plateau with 3 Leopard 2A4s without the veterancy buff now, but still very much capable, especially if they get to engage 1 by 1, 3 against 1. There are the close range RPG 27s that might be getting here. Oh no.
Leo 2A4 getting hit. Yeah, one goes down, second one goes down. Pro Comi with the important kills. This is so key. 2 Leo 2A4 sees down. There's no way Stahlbrecher is pushing through the center again. So Stahl needs the north to work now. And even there, Stahl is under pressure. Some Schützen come around. The Foxtrot point most likely gonna go back here in a second. And yeah, as I said, Stahl with a 400 point lead nearly. 40 points coming into the pocket for Pro Comi in a second. But still not quite having it captured. 6 minutes to go here.
Yeah, I think Pro Comi most likely understands that the difference between there's a single Jaeger guarding Golf. Like he can just go up there, just drive, skip the road and drive further north, and he can probably get this. And I think that's going to be the next plan. Meanwhile, there are 2 Leopard 2A3s that are guarding the crossroad. So if you actually they are actually striking the hard target. Taking the Jaeger with them. Meanwhile, Pro Comi doing. Look at this deployment. The Motoschützen RPG 27. I love Kreide. This is such a great map. You can use the map control.
Yeah. This could be really dangerous. They're not moving up yet though. The Leos get the engagement first. Motoschützen now start moving. Panzer Grenadiers get out on the other side. A decent amount of kills here by Pro Comi, stopping the units at least getting closer to Alpha. Well, says Leo 2A3s get some good engagements. Martyrs getting the kill here. Motoschützen, RPG 22 still moving around. T72 goes down in the middle. Leo 2A3 is doing the job there. Well, it's the Motoschützen RPG 7 Gets out, gets the kill into the Leo 2A3 leader. He gets the kill into the second Leo 2A3 as well with the side shot. And this is pain. Modschützen
This is such
RPG
a
27 murdering the martyr as well. This stops any chance of moving to Foxtrot. Absolute MVP unit here for Pro Commie. But Pro Commie not getting out just yet either. The amount of ATGMs here is pretty mental. So life for Pro Commie not easy, but easier
yeah.
than before.
I wanted to play the tragedy at maximum scale of voiceover, but then I realized no, that's not a tragedy. That's just pro Komi doing like a really nice, simple yet super powerful move that is obviously so unexpected that Stahl had nothing guarding against it. I love that. That's just like I'm gonna start doing that now all the time.
We have two CVs coming up as well for Pro Commie. Martyrs going down everywhere right now as well. SU-22 is coming up. 72 MEV might go down. No, barely survives as well as another Martyr bites the dust. And the Martyr numbers dropping like that is pretty painful. The T-72S in the south pushing it a bit too close as the Leo
Revealed
2A4
itself.
comes around together with Jaguar, and that most likely gonna be the end of it. Yes, T-72S gets
Ooh.
finished. Malyutka gets more slightly finished as well, so Pro Commie not gonna get into Alpha easily, but still has more options, pushing a BMP1 through this northern area, where there is a Milan 2 as well though. Modschützen gets another kill in the north. The clunkiness of this game is pretty freaking fantastic, but Pro Commie keeps the +1 tick. That's currently not good enough though to get the win for sure, and it might even be just barely not enough to get a draw. So getting a CV in here somewhere right now would be really important, but the BMP1 is stuck. Nothing here is moving. T-72 moves further forward, BMP1 and T-72 in the middle pushing in as well, but there are a decent amount of ATGMs. There is a Leo 2A3 leader here as well, and this is going to be close, and it might not work out for Pro Commie.
Pro Commie has two leaders and units already up there showing that it's free to move and still hasn't contested north. This is a massive horse blinder issue here. Once again, this time on the top of the top tier of WARNO gameplay. The just go a little bit sideways and you could have taken these points, and but oh no, now it seems like it's too late for Pro Commie. Who was it in YouTube chat that said that Blue had no chance? I looked at you and I guffawed. How do you say that? Anyways, I'm right. I didn't say it, but I kind of wanted to communicate it with the talking about fifth late game potential. But like in these tank to tank engagements, Stahl worked so much to make them. They did like the
Modschützen auf
entire
Clary getting another shot here against the Leo 2. But yeah, the CV tank, the C-72MK is not getting through. The Panzer Grenadiers of a Panzerfaust 24 are holding it off, and Pro Commie does surrender, and we get a W for Stahlbrecher. And yeah, another victory in KD for Pro Commie. Another missed opportunity on the battlefield, and Stahlbrecher gets the W, and with that also gets to move on out of the group stage, because that means Stahl has 1 win and 2 draws, same as our friend Starek. And both Pro Commie and Tiberia's Rancor are eliminated in this group because they both have a loss already and a draw, and even with a win, they can't get the points. So Pro Commie and Tiberia's Rancor eliminated in the group stage. Big upset in Division 1 this season. Really amazing game here. Well played by Stahlbrecher, just barely holding out.
Insane, actually insane from Stahlbrecher. Yeah, I mean, I can keep talking about what I was saying. There was that about Stahl's fifth Panzer play, that after Stahl was pushed for so long, having to resort to a single tank, trading so badly in the early mid game, and getting put on like a permanent back foot. But when the fight went deep enough, and the fact that Pro Commie didn't contest the north well enough, so the points lead could grow slowly. despite the trades going well for Procomi. The I loved seeing Stahlbrecher go to the literal edges of the map, to the furthest back with his tanks, just making everything, making most out of the 70 kph speed, and doing like actual legitimate elastic defense doctrine. That's like really cool. And I believe the Leopards, especially when they're vetted up, they have the 11 rate of fire. The T-72s have autoloaders, but they get 8. That, alongside the speed and damage and accuracy, made sure that every time a true tank fight happened, if Procomi didn't control better or have a better formation, the Leopards would basically beat the T-72s. And that was an excellent comeback by utilizing the forces of late game. Of
the
late
Jaguar
game
in the north
maneuver.
that stopped Procomi from getting the BMP-1 into the rear zone early on, that was what led to the victory here. If that would have gotten through, the point situation would be completely different at this stage. But yeah, a good couple of nice snipes there by Stahl. Even though Stahl came from a desolate place in the early game, like the fights in the first 2 minutes went completely Procomi's favor. But Stahl did keep on, did try to find win conditions, and Stahl found the win conditions in the end. Really well played here. And yeah, as we just looked on into the match, the Geelong page here, Static and Stahlbrecher can't be caught by Procomi and Tiberius. Maximum they can get is 4 more points, which Procomi would be equal with Stahl, but Stahl won against Procomi, so the tiebreaker would be in favor of Stahl. And Tiberius can't catch up there anymore. So these two here will move on in this position as well. And yeah, we still have to wait for Fortitude fans versus WoW. WoW will be first in the group though, most likely, unless Fortitude wins against him. Then WoW will be second, so that's an important game here as well. And then we have Sotek versus Gada that we're gonna cast this weekend as well, as that's gonna be a really intense series as well. So good stuff here in Division 1 still coming, and I'm really looking forward to that. With that said, guys, yeah, thanks for the follows. Broad Papa, Leku, and all of you. If you haven't followed over at Chlorite's channel, check that out as well. And yeah, we're gonna end it here for today. We're gonna be back with more WARNO action in the next 2 days, as there is a lot of WARNO to come. Another tier list coming up tomorrow on YouTube as well, so don't you miss out. And let's find somebody to rate here. As there's
I think Jeremy and Whale are both streaming,
Yeah.
but I think we haven't rated Whale before.
Well, I just clicked onto Jeremy, so we're
well,
gonna
okay.
go with Jeremy here. Let's have some fun over there,
Sidelining the
guys.
new streamers. Old boys club trying to keep to themselves. Thank you, everybody.
Jeremy
We have
is how
amazing
long is
games.
Jeremy streaming? 3 months. Jeremy is a pretty new boy as well. So
It's all relative. We thank you. You are an amazing audience. We had some great games, and I look forward to our next casts in some time.
yeah, see you around, guys.